In the better zone for a better NFL game day experience.
Zach Wilson in the shotgun. Takes the snap and drops back. Here comes a blitz. Looks left, throws left, and is caught. Front left pylon. Conklin, toe taps. Touchdown.
Shotgun, handoff, Dalvin up the middle. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings.
ETN again. Toward the goal line. Touchdown. A 1-yard touchdown run by Travis Etienne, and Jacksonville has retaken the lead.
Snap to Murray. Short set, throws left side of the end zone. One-handed catch for a touchdown by DeAndre Hopkins. Oh my goodness, he stabbed that out of the air with his left hand, pulled it in for a huge Cardinal score.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the better zone on Better Sports Network.
Yo, what's up, and welcome inside the Better Zone Week 9 NFL action. Our live little group chat that we like to have with our good friends right here on the Better Sports Network. Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, along with Adam Ronis and Tom Casale, got you covered for the next 4 hours, getting you through the 1 p.m. Eastern time starts today. 6 of the road teams are favored today. We're going to get into that and break that down. Also, don't forget, NFL Game Day Takeover presented by Jock Market. Download the Jock Market app and use the promo code BETTER. We'll be talking some Jock Market stuff today as well. Gentlemen, what is going on, Adam Ronis? Here we go, already halfway through week number 9, getting ready to kick off.
Yeah, it's flying by. And I guess to sum up the NFL this season, I'll say there are 2 games this week between teams that both have winning records. Both games have double-digit spreads.
Yep. That goes to show you what kind of week what kind of season that we're off to so far. Tom, yesterday was a fabulous day of college football. Hopefully we'll be just as lucky today.
Yeah, you know, Corey, once every few years you get a game where you see it in your head and it turns out that way. That Notre was that for me. I mean, I had a buddy call me during the game, and he said, you even said block, punt, and interception return for touchdown. It's one of those games, man, South Bend, nighttime, weird things happen. So I had a good vision yesterday. I don't have a vision today. These games, I think, are tough. Ronis, if you see Josh Palmer doing anything over an hour before I see it, let me know. I got a Josh Palmer prop going. Tough games, though, today, I think, Corey. You know, it's like Ronis said, it kind of sums it up that you got double-digit spreads with teams with winning records. And I will say this, guys, it was something we've talked about on this show for a while, and I just don't understand it. 2 games in the late window.
Yeah.
You know, I know the NFL makes billions of dollars, and it doesn't matter, but damn, I mean, their product is becoming boring sometimes. Like, who wants 2 games in the late window?
And those 2 games are between the last 2 NFL champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Rams. Just so happens that neither one of those teams are playing very championship-like right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on in that game. Obviously, we'll get a chance to break that down a little bit later on. The other game in that late window is a game I know a lot of people were very confused with the point spread in this game between Arizona and Seattle, with Arizona actually being a home favorite. They struggle at home. They struggle against Seattle, but we'll break that one down a little bit later on in the program. Right now, I got everything getting ready to kick off. See the Jets and the Bills getting ready to kick off. Obviously, we're getting ready to kick off also, Adam, down there in Atlanta. Interesting spot. This game sat 3 for most of the week with the Chargers laying it on the road. Then we see Atlanta close in, bring it down to 2.5 this morning. I was all over the Chargers, to be honest, Ronis.
Me too.
But when Cordero Patterson became active, that's when I got a little bit nervous. I actually put the Chargers in a teaser. I think Patterson's a fabulous player, and he changes the dynamic for the Atlanta Falcons offense, not to mention the fact all the injuries with the Chargers, I think they win the game. But this is going to be a close one.
Yeah, I think the line dropped to 2.5, but I was with you. I was on them most of the week, and you know, we already saw Patterson involved early. First play of the game, he caught a 9-yard pass, then he had a 7-yard run. So using him early, we know the Chargers very susceptible against the run, but we also know Atlanta's secondary is really bad. And I know no Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams, but you got Gerald Everett, Josh Palmer, DeAndre Carter, who all become solid plays in fantasy this week with bye weeks and injury issues. So, yeah, I think it's always scary with the Chargers. There's one of those teams that I just kind of fall for, and they disappoint me every single year. The talent is there, but I am on them this week as well. But it is kind of scary. But Atlanta, I mean, they keep doing it. As I say that, Tyler Algier with a 44-yard run. So they're already at the Chargers 15.
And just like that, you know what I'm saying? We're starting to see the Atlanta Falcons push the football down the field, as well as the Buffalo Bills already into the red zone area. Tom, when you look at this game between the Chargers and the Falcons, I think how this NFC South is going to play out down the stretch is going to be very intriguing.
Yeah, and listen, I knew the pros were going to be on Atlanta, right? It's a given. You know what the pros are going to be on. But what I wrote in the post, and I feel like this was the week the value wasn't there with the Falcons, right? Like most of the season, they're 6-2, 6-2 or 7-1 against the spread, but I didn't see the value there. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, so I'm not too worried about the Falcons, moving the ball early. And I just think the Chargers are a better team.
You saw what I saw?
Just Josh Allen throwing interception in the red zone.
Oh, my God. What was he looking at?
A jet.
Dude, he was right in his line of vision.
Is that your man Sauce?
I
couldn't see. I couldn't catch.
Whitehead.
Okay, it was Whitehead. So,
oh my God,
Josh Allen. I mean, he just threw the ball right to him.
It looked like Whitehead was running the route for him.
Hey, I heard an interesting comparison to Josh Allen earlier this week. I never thought about it until the person mentioned it. They said Josh Allen is a modern Cam Newton, and I was like, that's interesting. Do you see any compare? I mean, Cam in his prime, bro. Not the dude that was.
No, I don't know. Cam was really good in his prime. It's just, I mean, they didn't let Cam pass as much as Josh Allen does. But as far as you're talking about the body, the ability to run,
the ability to run, the play style, you know what I'm saying, can be particularly dominant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I could see that. I could see that.
I find that to be interesting. To compare those two players to each other. Obviously, Josh Allen having an MVP season, but that early red zone takeaway not going to fare well with people backing Josh Allen today. He came in today as a player with the highest suggested IPO price on Jock Market. Hopefully, it turns around for people that backed him already. Another interesting one, Tom. I'll be honest with you. This is a money line parlay for me. I got the Chicago Bears on one leg of it. I love the Bears today at home versus Tua and the Miami Dolphins. Tom, this one's supposed to have some weather implications as the wind is supposed to be bad in Chicago, and I worry about Tua in inclement weather.
Yeah, this was one I looked at earlier in the week. I think the Bears still get a little bit too much respect at home. I think the Dolphins are a superior football team. But once I saw weather issues, like you mentioned, kind of took me off of it. That obviously favors the Bears, who want to, muddy that game up. They want to make it ugly. They don't want to go point for point with Miami. So, yeah, I mean, listen, we talked about Fields on here a couple of times, right? And he's starting to play better. I think better there for him. And hey, if you look at those quarterbacks that came out that year, can I argue that he might end up being the best one at this point?
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he's getting on a team that doesn't have much talent.
And I'll be honest, I've trashed him at times this season, but I do think he's being coached better now. And I think the ability to have some success running the football has made him a more confident player. So I'm feeling much better about him. And Ronus, Tom makes a point where all of a sudden is Justin Fields the best quarterback in the 2021 draft class?
Well, look, I agree. The last few weeks, he's played a lot better. I think they finally are utilizing him correctly, getting him out on the run. Like, he does hold the ball too much in the pocket, and that's where he gets into trouble. When he scrambles a little bit. I think they've done a better job of utilizing him the last few weeks. And I'm with you on the Bears, too. I'm really not worried about the weather. They said the wind was going to die down during the game. And I don't think it's that bad for Tua because he throws a lot of short passes anyway, gets it in the hands of Tyreek, and Waddle lets them do their thing. And the Bears did drive down the field on this first drive. It looks like they're going to have to settle for a field goal, but they did. Claypool already caught a pass, and he drew a pass interference. So that's kind of interesting. And TJ Hawkinson has already caught a pass as well. So, we look at these new players and new teams and like, well, it could be slow to get involved, but we're seeing on the early drives, these guys are right away involved.
after.
Yeah, Ronan, so I want to ask you quickly about the weather, though. I live in upstate New York, and I think the weather that was in the Midwest is here today because it was supposed to be like 72 degrees, and it's really windy. So I think some of that weather that we saw in college last week is here, and it's going to rain today. So I think that's moved east. So maybe the Buffalo Jets game, you might see something there.
No, I'm near the stadium. It's not bad at all right now. It's still hot. And,
okay.
I saw some rain for a couple hours. Looking at the latest forecast here now. No, actually, no rain. Chance of light rain in the next hour. 72 degrees and cloudy. Doesn't look that. So no, I don't think so. No, you can't. Don't blame the weather on Josh Allen's interception.
Okay, so that must be more upstate than where I am because it's pretty windy here up here.
It's warm here, man. Yesterday too, it was like a summer day, man. It's insane how hot it is.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I see some 40s coming. That's my kind of weather, baby. I don't want to be watching football with the air conditioning on. That's Corey stuff down south. We don't do that up here, Corey. We don't do that up here.
That's exactly what's going on right now. I turned the air on before the program.
Ronas, though, I've been waiting all week to ask your thoughts on the Claypool trade. I mean, I think it took a lot of people by surprise that they gave up a second rounder. I don't really care what people they are. In terms of football, though, how do you think that helps the Bears, and were you a fan of that deal?
I mean, it helps Fields, I think, more than anything. He needed another weapon. He needed a big receiver. That's been the biggest problem. Fields, as we talked about, gets all the criticism, but what is he really throwing to? Mooney is miscast as a one. I like him, but he's not a one. So, I think, Claypool has some flaws, but he's a big target, and we know Fields can get the ball downfield. So if you could just throw it up, and we already saw it in the first drive, he drew a pass interference. That's going to help. So I think it helps the Bears as a whole. And especially Justin Fields. And look, Fields right now, I had him ranked as a QB1 this week in fantasy, and he's probably going to be a QB1 the rest of the way because we know the running quarterbacks. All he needs to do, if he throws for 175 and 1 touchdown with the rushing yards he's going to provide each week and the opportunity to score a rushing touchdown, I mean, you're complaining over Aaron Rodgers, Brady, all these guys. We talked about all the disappointments at quarterback this year. Fields is going to be better than those guys because of the floor he gives you on the ground.
Yeah, but he's not going to be a QB1, Ronas. I can promise you.
No,
that
I mean in fantasy, meaning top 12 quarterback.
But I started him this week.
Oh, that's
so when Corey does the loser board and you hear Justin Fields' name on there, don't be surprised.
There you go, right there. We did have a couple touchdowns. Kirk Cousins hit Justin Jefferson for a touchdown to crack open the scoring down there in D.C. with the Vikings and the Commanders. Joe Mixon also got into the end zone. Bengals take the early lead over the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, baby.
We'll touch on that game. And fresh off the IR, right back into your lineups and right back into your hearts, our guy, Cordero Patterson, gets on the board for the Atlanta Falcons. And
Romeo Doubs is being assisted on the sideline.
Oh, man.
Like, unbelievable, man. I do have him in one league, and it looked like he's in a good spot.
Yeah, so that Romeo Doubs injury, we did see that. So he's get an update on what's going on with him. Now, I don't know if it was Trevor Lawrence or Trevor I'm getting the Etienne brothers mixed up now.
No, Jermichael Hasty, the fumble.
That was Hasty. Okay, that was Hasty with the fumble. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, so you did have that.
Don't badmouth Mike Etienne like that. Come
on. I'm a big fan of Etienne's. Yeah. All right, so we did have that. Okay, yeah, Jermichael Hasty with the fumble. Now, let's get back and take a look at some of the games. I do want to get a full breakdown of what's going on the trade deadline. Also, Chicago Bears have a 3-0 lead in that game. Ronas, last week, Carolina, heartbreaking loss versus the Atlanta Falcons. Those two teams actually run that game back on Thursday Night Football this week. So it actually should be an exciting game as that NFC South plays out. A lot of people on the Panthers catching 7 this week. I laid off of it mainly because I just saw Cincinnati destroy an NFC South team at home a couple of weeks ago when Atlanta came to town. So I stayed away, but Carolina a real popular bet today. And people starting to feel about Carolina how they felt about Jacksonville early in the season.
Yeah, I just think because we've seen Carolina play pretty well the last couple of weeks, and we saw Deontay Foreman run very well. With Chuba Hubbard out, he's going to get a big workload. And also, Cincinnati's really banged up on defense, especially in the secondary. Reader's still out, and teams have been able to perform well when he's out. So I think that's really what they're looking for. I mean, you'd expect we know this. When you're betting, you're looking for buy low spots, right? And the Bengals are kind of a buy low spot, but it depends what you got it at. 7.5. Maybe 7.5. You worry.
I think at 7. I would take it at 7. At 7.5, I wasn't touching it. I wasn't touching it at 7, but at 7, I wasn't touching it at. It's not on my. It didn't make my ticket, but I would say 7 with the Bengals would be the play for me.
You would think at home, and especially, this, people saw them in prime time look like absolute garbage.
Yep.
So, and we saw it with the Raiders last week too. They didn't show up. We know that usually doesn't translate 2 weeks in a row.
Nope, 100%. Any thoughts on this game, Tom? I think Rona's kind of hit it. When it comes to betting, you have to kind of program yourself to not believe what your eyes are showing you from week to week. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Because, I mean, the Raiders, you mentioned the Raiders. The Raiders couldn't play any worse than they did last week, right?
They could not.
So, but that's the last thing everybody saw. So I know the pros are on the Raiders huge this week. Finally, they're usually on Jacksonville, but it's just things like that. They're professionals, right? They're probably not going to look that bad again. But I think you mentioned something important, Corey, about the NFC South playing outside their division. That concerns me. I think those teams are garbage. So that's one of the reasons why I took the Chargers today. I think when these teams go outside of their division, you can bet against them. So I kind of lean the Bengals here.
Yep, I think the Bengals is the play in this one as well. Green Bay and Detroit, that game underway. This one closed, Adam, with Green Bay laying it at 4 on the road. To probably see that number go to 4 because it was reported this week, a lot of respected money coming in on the Detroit Lions. I took the Lions at 3.5 earlier in the week. It's in a contest that I'm in. I wouldn't take the Lions to the window though. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's very difficult to trust the Packers right now. But look, if they're smart, just give the ball to Aaron Jones.
Yes,
they just run it. I mean, dude, it's just we mentioned this a couple times this year. After week 1, Aaron Jones didn't get the ball, and I was all over his rushing and receiving prop that week. I think they played the Bears. Yeah, Sunday night game, Bears. He had a huge game, destroyed them. And then what happens? They start not giving him the ball again and feeding A.J. Dillon and dropping back to pass and throwing deep, and it's not working. Aaron Jones had a big game last week. You're going against Detroit, who's not good against the run. Like, don't make this complicated, man. Just feed him the football. Even A.J. Dillon could have a decent game this week. But Detroit's susceptible against the run. You're having major issues with your receivers and connecting, so just run the football. So I was on Aaron Jones props today.
Yeah, Ronas, I agree with you 100%. I actually almost pulled the trigger on the Dillon prop. My only problem is I just don't trust the Packers to do that. Like, I think both guys could go over their props easily if they just run the football. But every week I sit here and say, you got no receivers, you got 2 good running backs, and it just doesn't make sense to me. So yes, if they use that strategy, Aaron Jones should have a massive game today, huge game.
Yeah, just running the football should be the way to go. That is one of the most bet props on the day. We'll get to some of those a little bit later on, but everybody's on top of Aaron Jones today. We just had the Miami Dolphins advance into the red zone. Tua loads up, take a shot at the end zone, pass interference call, trying to get the football to Tyreek Hill. So that's how Miami gets the ball into the red zone. We'll get a chance to take a look and see what the Dolphins do down here. I tell you what, Ronas, what do you think about Tyreek Hill as the offensive player of the year?
I mean, it's not crazy.
It's not. It's very reasonable, as a matter of fact.
Oh my dude, this guy is having an unbelievable year, and the crazy, and he's not even really scoring a lot of touchdowns. But you saw the impact he made just there. I mean, it was a bad throw by Tua. It was a little short, but he got the pass interference. He only has 2 touchdowns on the season, but 961 receiving yards coming into today.
That's
right
crazy.
In 8 games, bro. 69 catches. I mean, the last 3 weeks, 14, 13, 15 targets. Like, I played his receiving prop today. I was looking at his receptions. It was 6.5 juice, but he's gone over it every week except 1. But his yards, too. I mean, he's got 4 games this year of at least 160 yards. I mean, it's insane. So, yeah, he's having a great year. I think if he had more touchdowns, people would talk about him a little bit more. I think people are well aware. But if he had, like, 7 touchdowns, I think he might get more notoriety.
Yeah, I think so.
Ronas, you make a great point too. I'm a guy that we're pretty. Well, first of all, the Chargers are going to get blown out, so we can move on from that. But,
yes,
we should be surprised by this.
Kyle Pitts wide open catching passes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're done there. So
I'm getting full with him knowing the teaser, so I'm not dead yet, but I can see it coming.
I always thought like pass interference yards should be like a guy we know pretty well, Michael Irvin. He wasn't the fastest receiver, so he caught a lot of contested passes, and he was also interfered with a lot. And I always thought that, like you're saying, when you get a 60-yard pass interference, that's as good as a catch. Yeah, so what you're saying about Hill is very important because he's putting the Dolphins in great situations, even if the touchdowns aren't there.
Yeah, he's the type of player where it's very difficult to defend. When you set your game plan, you immediately have to think, okay, how am I going to stop this guy? Because he can really tear you up, and we've seen it in the NFL the past number of years. Tom, I know these point spreads, I know how you feel about them, kind of like the way I do. So what I want to ask you is the Vegas Raiders and the Jacksonville Jaguars down there in Jacksonville today. And I'm like, just last week, I said to myself, I'm done. I'm not betting on the Raiders for the rest of the season. I'm out of it. I also said last week, I'm not betting on Jacksonville for the rest of the season. I'm done with Jacksonville. I'm done with Doug Peterson. I'm done with Josh McDaniels. I just can't with either one of these teams, but I do think the Raiders is the correct side today.
I agree. I like the Raiders today. One of the things that came out, and I'm not trying to make any excuses, but we knew Devontae Adams was dealing with a bit of a flu last week, and it came out that there might have been a lot more players on the Raiders. Listen, whatever you think of the Raiders, I don't care. What happened last week, I don't know if any team's that bad in the NFL. They couldn't get a first down. They looked lifeless. So maybe there was a flu breakout with the team. I agree. It's hard to like them after what we saw last week, but as we just mentioned, you can't let that get into your thinking. And I think the Raiders are a better football team than Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville might start to take a little bit of a nosedive here. I want to keep an eye on them. So I like it. I like Las Vegas today too.
They've had the first pick of the draft in each of the last 2 years. Then they can get it again on us. If they just go all the way off the deep end and say, screw it, you know what I'm saying? We're done.
It's possible.
They don't need a quarterback.
Houston needs one.
First pick. It's probably going to be Houston, I would think. But yeah, I mean, look, Jacksonville could really just fall apart here. Trevor Lawrence with a terrible interception in the red zone last week, and that's been a problem for him this year. He's got to eliminate those throws.
We've seen flashes of brilliance from Lawrence and also seen more bad play than we need to see at somebody going into really the halfway point of his second year. And I'm not mistaken, Trevor Lawrence has played every game that he's been in the NFL, so he's always been a starter. So I understand last year you give him a mulligan because of what happened with Urban Meyer, but you definitely want to see some improvements this year. And I think it's been slow as of best. It's another member of that 2021 draft class. Speaking of that 2021 draft class, my man Mac Jones, he got his job back barely, but it probably ain't gonna go that well today, Ronas. You know what I'm saying? New England laying 5 at home versus Indianapolis. Also, we see some respected money attack the Colts this week. Another team that's very difficult to back at the window.
Yeah, this was one of those games where it just didn't feel good about. I mean, obviously you have Patriots defense against the rookie quarterback, and Patriots have some injuries on the offensive line. Colts are just it seems like they're headed down. So this was one of those ugly games that I really didn't have a strong feel for. I need Deion Jackson and to have a big game. Picked him up in a lot of leagues, so I'm hoping that can be the case. And, still have some skilled players on the Colts with Michael Pittman. So without Matt Ryan, it's not as good. I know that sounds crazy, but at least Ryan was getting the ball to those guys.
We just had a couple of plays. Looked like we have a touchdown. Josh Allen scrambled touchdown, the game against the New York Jets.
I thought he was down. Did you think
he looked like he could have been down? So I'm about to say
they're reviewing it.
That one is going to be reviewed. Also in Detroit, Aaron Rodgers with a red zone interception.
Dude, weren't they at like the 5-yard line?
Yes,
that was first down, right?
They were at the 5-yard line.
Dude, why are they not running the football? We just talked about this. Damn it.
That's one of the worst passes you'll ever see Rodgers throw, too.
Come
I mean, the
on,
guy
man.
had 3
Terrible.
guys on him. I mean, there was no chance of that being complete.
I don't. Again, you have
load
Dylan
it up.
Jones.
I don't care which running back you give it to. Load it up at the 5 and hand it to one of them. That you took the other guy in the second round. Do something. Use these guys.
You don't have Devontae Adams anymore because he's scoring touchdowns right now for Vegas on the first drive. Well, early in this game.
You needed that last week. You needed that, or was it 2? When did you have them, Ronas? You had all the Devontae Adams problems.
Yeah, I think he hit that week. But
okay.
He already has 6 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown. And I should have went back to it this week because, you mentioned it we talked about it. Number one, they didn't show up. I don't know what happened. And Adams was dealing with an illness. Still not an excuse to have 1 catch for 3 yards. They should have force-fed him the ball more. But
yeah,
that's like one of those situations when you got a player of the caliber of Adams, you just go back to him the next week.
Yep, that is the case. So Devontae Adams gets in the end zone. He's off to a big start so far today. Adams, I'm about to say, not picking up where he left off last week, actually starting to get it done. Tom, curious of your take. Right now we see a 7-0 score between the Vikings and the Washington Commanders. It looks like it's going to be despite what's probably likely to be another poor season for the Washington franchise, it looks like good news is on the way as Daniel Snyder is likely going to end up selling the team. I know that's what everybody inside the Beltway, matter of fact, not just inside the Beltway, because they're from people that don't really believe this. I know if you're like a younger NFL fan, like Washington, like really used to be good. You know what I'm saying? Like they're one of the top franchises.
Joe Gibbs is one of the most underrated coaches in my lifetime. He should be up there with Belichick. And Joe Gibbs was a phenomenal football coach. Won Super Bowls with average quarterbacks. I don't think the younger people realize how good the Redskins were and how hard it was to play at RFK back in the day.
Yep. So, but now obviously things are different. Looks like Snyder's going to sell the team. As far as this game this week, Minnesota up 7-0 early, Tom. What do you think handicapping this one? Washington on the winning streak, Minnesota on the winning streak, but it feels like neither one of these teams are going to beat her in the end.
Yeah, well, there's 2 teams, Corey, that's going to put me in the poorhouse and get the Casale family eating tuna fish sandwiches for the next month. One of them's the one's UCF in college. Man, I can't. I got the Memphis head coach going forward on 4th and 16 in the third quarter from his 50-yard line. Never seen that before in my life. Vikings. I keep waiting for them to kind of, decline and put up a stinker.
Turn it to the Vikings.
I don't know, man. I know. Listen, everybody in the NFL has an easy schedule because there's no good teams, but the Vikings, I feel like, have an exceptionally easy. Every week, I want to bet against them, and I'm like, geez, they're playing this team. I haven't found a good spot. I kind of like Washington today, but that's only because I'm kind of anti-Vikings.
What do you think, Ron, about this game between Washington and Minnesota? Minnesota up early in this one, but Washington is going to make it a fight, and Minnesota will allow them.
Yeah, I agreed. I thought Washington would keep this close because I think it might have closed at 3, but I saw like 3.5 most of the week. So I just think they could keep it close. I'm with Tom, man. Like I just don't buy Minnesota. They've caught a lot of breaks along the way. They had to come back against Detroit to win. The game in London against the Saints, they should have lost. The Miami game was close. Even the Cardinals game was close. So they've played a lot of one-score games, and a lot of has gone in their favor. The one good team they played was the Eagles. They got destroyed. They weren't even competitive in that game. Well, Tom, you might win some money betting against Minnesota coming up because they're at Buffalo and home to the Cowboys the next 2 weeks.
Well, there you go. It took until Thanksgiving. We finally got some spots to bet against the Vikings.
With the Dan Snyder thing, you know what I'm saying? It's like, people are scrambling to put their groups together. You heard that Jeff Bezos wants to get involved and some other people. Obviously, I think the NFL was like, okay, it's time for this relationship to be over. I think you get a new stadium. I think you get a new owner, a new stadium, and I wouldn't be even surprised if they change the team name again.
Why not? I mean,
just try to forget all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you need a complete overhaul here. I saw like a shot of the parking lot earlier today. It's completely empty. So they definitely need massive changes. We don't want to see it. We like what we're seeing as Cowboys fans.
Keep it going.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, look, they're 4-4 though. Like
they're right there. Yeah,
man. That NFC East is just they're a dominant division this year. I mean, the worst team is 4-4.
Yeah, but that's a good point about the parking lot. I remember last year after Joe Judge took the knee and the next home game, they showed the Giants stadium and there was nobody there. And I said, man, when Giants fans don't go to games anymore, that's you're long gone, because that's when it starts hitting you in the pocketbook and people don't start showing. That's one of the things. But yeah, it's weird because they can't just fire a coach, right? They can't just get an thing at the highest level, which makes it a lot tougher.
Yeah,
but that name stinks, Corey. You're right. I mean, were there people in Washington going, yeah, the Commanders, that's a great name?
I saw somebody made a video. They was like, yeah, everybody, let's hear us. What's our name? The Commanders. And it was like, what? It was like, what are y'all doing? I was like, man, that once proud fan base now resulted to looking like fools on social media. All right, we got a half hour in the books. Getting ready to continue with hour number 2. We do got some primetime games tonight. Got 3 more games left today. Also, we got a couple games coming up tomorrow night, Monday Night Football. And also, at some point, we get a look at what's coming up on Thursday night with the rematch of last weekend's a great game between the Panthers and the Falcons. Also want to look at some of the most bet props on the day so we can keep an eye on those. We are off and rolling. Jock Market NFL Game Day Takeover. It is the Bettor Zone Week 9 action right here on the Bettor Sports Network. When we come back on the other side, we'll let you know what we're betting today.
Today's NFL Game Day Takeover on Bettor Sports Network is sponsored by Jock Market.
Right now by Dave Eisman, co-founder of Jock Market. Dave, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for sponsoring the show on the network and everything, man. We much appreciate it.
How would you recommend a novice make their introduction into Jock Market?
For most people, we recommend we have free beginner contests. So anyone, if you played fewer than 50 events, free to enter. And instead of trading with cash like you do in our cash markets, we give everyone chips, the same number of chips to trade, and we rank people at the end based on how many chips you finish with. So totally free to enter, only against other novices, and you can sort of build a portfolio in a way that you would with real cash, just in a way that's a little more risk-free. For the people that are more, a little more adventurous and you want to deposit right away, I'd say pick, 1 or 2 players you think are going to be undervalued, and it's just that simple, right? They're undervalued today. I think they're going to outperform. Buy a couple shares and watch what happens to the price. Watch where people are offering to pay for them. And then as the game goes on, you say like, hey, Lamar Jackson's having a real bad first half, let's say. He's probably going to be the most expensive player. There might be opportunity to buy low on him or kind of watch as the game goes on and how the prices react. I'd say that's probably the best way to.
So it's like a second screen experience where you kind of have to have it up while you're watching the games on Sunday and stuff like that to really be able to truly take advantage, huh?
Actually, what's great is that we have a lot of people that do that, but a lot of people will buy before the games and just
come back and check.
Yeah, because we have the guaranteed payouts at the end. You don't have to trade. There might be an opportunity for you to, reallocate your funds or invest more, buy, sell, short sell, whatever you want to do. But we have plenty of people who just buy and hold, and that's their whole experience, and they do pretty well on that.
Hawkinson wears number 87. He goes in motion to the right. Kirk back to pass, out of the shotgun, to the end zone, and it is caught. Is it inbounds? Yes! Touchdown, Vikings! He's JJ!
Carr, shotgun, lobs one, near side, Adams over his shoulder, makes the grab at the 5, walks into the end zone. Touchdown Raiders! Have a quarter, Devontae!
Bettor Zone is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every second of every game.
All right, back up and at him. 2 first-round wide receivers right there, Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson, on the board early on this Week 9 Sunday. Audio courtesy of the Minnesota Vikings and Las Vegas Raiders Radio Network. Don't forget, big day today, Jock Market NFL Game Day Takeover right here on the Bettor Zone. Jock Market offers live daily markets for sports that lets you buy and sell shares of athletes in real time with other users, all for real money. and each share has a guaranteed payout at the end of the night. Download using promo code BETTOR, BETTOR, to receive 100% deposit match up to $100. Your first market will also be risk-free with losses refunded up to $100. Download the Jock Market app now using the promo code BETTOR. You can also click the link on the app. That'll take you right there as well, get you in on the action. You can start sharing and making shares and picking up assets today, right now on Jock Market. NBA, NFL, NHL, the whole shebang. They got you all covered. Ronis, how the basketball going so far this week? I've been riding the Portland Trailblazers and it's going pretty well.
Yeah, no, basketball's going pretty well. Doing a lot of player props. My man Tyrese Halliburton has just been money. He had one down game against Brooklyn, the second game of the Brooklyn matchup. But yeah, basketball's been going very well so far.
While we were away in the commercial break, we did see young Cool kick a field goal. Atlanta up now 10-0 over the Los Angeles Chargers. Also, Cole Kmet just hit pay dirt for
there you
Chicago
go,
Bears.
Justin Fields, Tom.
Maybe I can't even. He's playing so well, I can't even jinx him.
Justin Fields getting it done. Touchdown pass to Cole Kmet. Chicago Bears take a 10-7 lead over the Miami Dolphins. That game out there today in Chicago.
Here's something interesting for you guys. Mike White is warming up for the Jets.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
No!
Wilson got banged up. That's what happened.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, just they're showing it now. So he limped off, and
oh, okay.
But we'll see if he comes back in. You know, he's obviously going to be out for a play.
He took a big shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took a big shot right there. He took a big shot. So,
that's probably not good if you're on Buffalo, right?
No, because you prepared. Because what happens is White brings a different aspect to the game that you're not prepared for today. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now Buffalo, have they played? So they played some mobile quarterbacks. So he's banged up pretty bad. They played some mobile quarterbacks so far this year, but they were not expecting that today. Today they were expecting to just sit back and tee off on Zach Wilson and intercept his passes.
Yeah, look, I thought the Jets defense wouldn't stop the offense, but maybe give them some problems. Well, my concern was, are the Jets going to do anything offensively to keep up? Because you can slow down Buffalo, but at some point, if your offense is not moving the football, then Buffalo will figure it out, make a big play, and be able to pull away. So that was my concern in this game.
Yeah, Ronis, was your concern if the Chargers offense could do anything today?
Oh, man. No. I mean, look, again, I don't learn lessons.
None
it's
of us
still
do.
early,
Listen,
but I mean,
that guy better start winning some football games, or he's going to be going for it on fourth down and Madden pretty soon.
It's going.
So right now,
that's the scary part.
Atlanta's got 14 carries for 95 yards. I mean, and we know that's what they do, and we know that's the weakness for the Chargers. So, I mean,
did they go out and spend a lot of money? Because remember, I heard the excuses. Well, this guy here, blah blah blah. They went out and got whatever's going on there and working.
Yeah, I mean, the injuries are a factor with them every single year, but this is a game that you got to win here and at least show up. You're already down 10-0. I mean, Atlanta, they just got Atlanta to punt. It looks like they're at their own 27. But they got to start putting something together here. You got Austin Eckler. You still have some talent here, and this is Atlanta. Yeah. I know Atlanta's played well.
You should be able to score points, move the football.
Yeah, they have their weakness is the secondary, and AJ Terrell is still out, and they're a product of a awful division. And maybe they're better than we think, but I don't think so. I think this is a game that you got to win, and to be down 10-0 already, come on, Chargers.
Yeah, come on, Chargers. Greg Zerline just adds 3 points. Buffalo now are up 7-3 over the New York Jets. Ronis, what did your Survivor article this week? Who did you recommend?
I mean,
if anybody's still playing,
yeah, that's true too. The Eagles, Bills, and Chiefs. I mean, Eagles, you could have went Bengals if you wanted to. That was kind of my next one in line, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of close spreads this week. That's the problem. There are a lot of low lines. Like you're never taking the Chargers on the road.
No.
Come on, tackle him. Ah, damn it.
You can't take the Packers.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No way.
This is the place where they struggle at anyway. Historically, they struggle in Detroit I don't look like about to score now. But
well, I don't know. What are they calling here?
That might be a fumble.
It might be a touchback. Yeah, Lazard. It looked like they're discussing it. Wow, that would be brutal.
Aaron Rodgers will quit.
Dude, yeah, I was going to say, if they take that away, but you're going to see a temper tantrum.
You might see Aaron Rodgers leave the field and change clothes and be like, I'm done.
Well, you guys probably aren't going to be surprised by this, but I have him in fantasy, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
what just happened?
It'd be fitting to take a 0, right? All right. So that's the Survivors thing today. We'll keep an eye on that. So
I think it's a touchdown. I think hit the ball.
I thought it was a touchdown watching it the first time.
Yeah, I think he reached across. I think
looks like a touchdown to me too.
Right?
That's the three of us think it's all a touchdown for what it's worth. Boom, boom.
Oh, or his knee down? No. So it's either a touchdown or his knee is down at the 1. I don't think that's a touchback. His knee is down or it's a touchdown. To me, that's the outcome, but it's the NFL. They can figure something strange out.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Rodgers already thrown his hands up in the air, but we'll see how that one right there shakes out.
I think they're ruling that he was down because it's, first and goal from the 1. So they ruled he was down, and I'm okay with that. It looked like he might have been. So let's see if Rodgers throws a pick here.
Let's see if they decide to run it here. You know what I mean?
He did, and Dylan gets stopped at the 1. He gets no gain. Oh, jeez.
So
this is where they missed Devontae Adams because Rodgers would just throw it 4 times to Devontae Adams and probably get it on one of them.
So that back shoulder fade, something will happen. We're lining up for a kick in Jacksonville. Las Vegas Raiders go ahead.
Yeah, at least Carlson doesn't get 0 this week.
There's a person who starts Derek Carr every week. Oh, man, that was a bad one last week. So I want to touch on some of the player props that were the most bet player props at BetMGM coming into the day. We can keep an eye on these throughout the course of the day. And Tom, one of them is like everybody's favorite wide receiver right now, Jalen Waddle, over 68.5 receiving yards. On Jock Market, Waddle's suggested price was $5.82. His IPO price coming into today. But Waddle has been just like his buddy. United has been as good as Tyreek Hill, but Waddle's been very legit so far this year, coming back off a strong rookie campaign.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. He's been producing pretty much every week with Tua in there, so it doesn't surprise me that again, it doesn't look like the weather is that big of an issue. So coming into the day, I didn't know what that was going to look like, and also the Bears are so bad against the run that Miami might run the ball more today than they typically do in a normal game.
Ronald's another one. Jared Goff under 23.5 completions. Goff's suggested price pre-IPO on Jock Market was $5.77. Jared Goff under 23.5. It would have never crossed my mind to take that, but apparently that's one of the bigger props played this week on BetMGM.
Yeah, I think the concern with that one is the Packers play at such a slow pace. So if they have success on offense, it could be long drives and limits the Detroit from having the football. So that would be the concern. And we're seeing here Green Bay is having an absolute horrendous trip in the red zone once again. So they had Dylan stopped for no gain, a Rodgers pass where they were not on the same page. The receiver wasn't even in the vicinity of the pass. And then Dylan stopped again on 3rd down. So they're just running these plays, taking time off the clock. And that's the thing. Even when the Packers had success in recent years, they're one of the slowest paced offenses. So that would be the concern. If the Packers are able to have success controlling the clock, running the football, and we're seeing that so far. They've had the ball most of this first quarter. Looking at the time of possession, it's 9:54 for Green Bay, 5 minutes for Detroit.
That's going to be an issue. Are they kicking? I wonder if they're going to kick a field goal or they're going to try to go for it and get the touchdown in.
What would you do here? You had 3 plays from the 1 and you didn't score. It's scoreless. Do you take the points here?
I think I'd take the points against the Lions.
Damn, that's how sad it is for Green Bay. We can't score from the 1.
All right, so we're hearing that Zach Wilson is going to be okay, so we'll keep an eye on that one for you as well. Tom, Khalil Herbert over 40.5 rushing yards. Herbert IPO on Jock Market, $2.31 suggested. Herbert over 40.5 rushing yards. That was even juiced to 115 on BetMGM.
Yeah, that number's kind of gone up. I always thought there was some value with Herbert's rushing yards. Today, it's gone up. It looks like. What do you think? Starting to creep up in there but I just worry about the split. They love Montgomery there, but it seems like Herbert has more juice whenever it's like when we watch Washington, even though Gibson can't get any carries. Like when you watch it, it looks like Herbert has more juice.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, Montgomery played a lot more snaps last week, but the touchers were pretty much even. So it's not a bad play. We're seeing Montgomery so far, 6 carries, 11 yards, Herbert 2 for 8. So I think too, it would help if they get from behind. Maybe that leads to more Herbert, but that's a cheap price, man, for a guy that's kind of starting to ascend a little bit. So they're still using Montgomery. That's the problem. But Herbert is starting to cut into his workload a little bit.
Speaking of offensive player of the year, Tyreek Hill just gets on the board. Miami up 13-10, extra point pending. So that game right now got a pretty good back and forth going on right now early in the second quarter out there at Lambeau Field in Chicago.
Oh, Tyreek, don't get hurt doing these flips, bro. I
Yeah,
got your
for real.
receiving prop, man. Come on.
that would be terrible if something like that happened, but hopefully that's not.
Why would he do that, man? Like, this
flip?
is not the playoffs, bro. Like, come on.
Tyreek Hill is very athletic.
Oh, my God!
Don't tell me they went for it and they didn't.
They did. You know what? Guess what happened?
They fumbled.
Yes. No, close.
An interception.
Yes.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Dude,
what? Aiden Hutchinson gets the red zone interception off Aaron Rodgers. Tom.
Yo, this team's a disaster. Here's the thing, okay. I think Corey said you were in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
So was I. Why does everyone every week? Oh, this is the week Green Bay turns it around. What have we seen from this team?
They're not going to turn it around.
That this is going to happen. Like,
they're
it's
not going to
every
turn it
week.
around.
Right?
This is a bad football team.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Rodgers, 12 straight games now, he hasn't passed for 300 yards. I think he has not been over 20 fantasy points this year. Like, and I know Detroit stinks, but they could, again, Green Bay could still win.
Do you know what that play was? Do you know what their 4th and goal play was?
What was that?
They were throwing to an offensive lineman. That was the play. He was throwing it back to an eligible offensive lineman who was covered by Hutchinson. That's what they came up with the 6 running backs they have. And
now Rodgers is on the phone. Who are you?
Cab service.
Calling his agent. He's on the phone with his agent. All right, that's enough.
He's on the phone with a car service. Like,
I find it incredible that you can be down there. You can run 4 plays, and Aaron Jones doesn't touch the ball once.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't understand it.
Dylan is the bigger back, but what have we seen from him this year? And hasn't Aaron Jones done this before? Like, I don't get it. Now, on that play, he was in the flat. He was covered. I don't know if that was going to be the first read, but it just makes no sense. He's clearly, and we've had this conversation going back to week 2, week 3. This is not just something, every week I feel like I'm saying the same thing. It's not complicated. They did it last week against Buffalo, although you knew they were never going to win. But they started feeding Aaron Jones the football, and he had 143 rushing yards against the Bills. This is the Detroit Lions. Like, he's clearly your best weapon. I don't know, man. This team's
and here's the thing. I remember years ago, Dick Vermeil said, hey, Tony Richardson is the bigger back. And I said, Priest Holmes is one of the greatest goal line runners that there is. He was at Texas. The guy can leap over a house. Why isn't he getting carries at the goal line? Of course, they started giving him carries at the goal line. He scored 37 touchdowns in 1 year. But I think that stuff is so overrated because Jones is a great inside runner. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Dylan's there, but I don't know, man. I don't remember the Cowboys taking out little Emmitt Smith at the goal line. I think people overthink stuff too much. Aaron Jones is your best offensive player, period. He needs to touch the ball more in crucial situations.
All right, so right now, we got the Los Angeles Chargers driving the football in Atlanta. Could also be a 15-yard penalty tacked onto that play. Justin Herbert was hit in the head. It was no flag called on that. But we got the Chargers right there, down there at the brink of the red zone. Austin Eckler takes it just about outside the 10-yard line. So we just saw Nick Folk also hit a kick, 3-0 in New England. When we come back on the other side, we'll take our first look at our Jock Market leaderboard right here on the Bettor Zone on the Bettor Sports Network.
And time out. And today we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, that is the futures market for the upcoming college basketball season. With me, as always, the captain of our ship at Green Screens Media, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, why don't you kick us off with some favorites that you think are still good bets to place?
Yeah, let's go national runner-up North Carolina, plus 140 to win the ACC, plus 900 to win the national championship. Core four players are back: Baycott, Love, Davis, and Black. Coach Hubert Davis entering year two with confidence. The loss of Brady Manick is tough, but Northwestern transfer Pete Nance will help soften that blow. Let's slide over to the Pac-12. Some West Coast action, plus 190 to win the Pac-12, plus 1,600 for UCLA to win the national championship. Coach McCrone has done a fantastic job building up this powerhouse program. At 2 stars, Tiger Campbell and Jaime Jaquez coming back, as well as 2 5-star freshmen, Amari Bailey and Adam Bona. This team is loaded and ready to make a run.
Love the Bruins this year. I'm going to go for the repeat. Kansas Jayhawks plus 215 to win the Big 12, plus 1,300 to win it all. It's a young team, right? They lost a lot of pieces from this title team last year, but managed to retain Jalen Wilson and DeJuan Harris and reloaded with a bunch of 5-star talent. Might take a minute for this team to click, but ultimately Bill Self is a proven winner. Really like them for those 1,300 natty odds. Other side of the coin, underdogs and values. Mike, where are you going to get a little bit of juice in your futures bets?
Yeah, let's go to the wide open Big Ten. Ohio State plus 1,100. Loss of EJ Liddell and Malachi Branham to the NBA was tough, but can be relying on a lot of freshmen early on, like Bryce Sensabaugh, Tanner Holden, and Sam McNeil coming through in the transfer portal. His team has question marks, but they may have answers by midseason. Let's slide on over to the ACC as well, plus 2,000 for Notre Dame. They finished tied for second in the ACC last year. They returned a veteran squad, includes lethal three-point shooters Cormac Ryan, Dane Goodwin, Nate Lejeski. Incoming 5-star guard J.J. Starling could be the X factor.
Plus 2,000 to win the conference. They came in second in last year. I love that call. For me, I'll go the Tennessee Volunteers plus 3,000 to win the national title. This is a team that won the SEC tournament last year. Rick Barnes, we know, can recruit, so he has an absolutely loaded team top to bottom. Guys like Triple J and Vescovi are legit difference makers in this league, so love them at that plus 3,000 price. Last category, player of the year. Mike, who do you like to bring home the Wooden Award?
Let's go with the long shot, Keontae George from Baylor's plus 6,000. Freshman No Strangers winning the National Player of the Year. He lit it up in the Global Jam this past summer. He's a 3-level scorer plus defender, one of the top NBA prospects.
I'll go chalk here. Armando Baycott plus 900. We talk about the Tar Heels as a favorite to win it all. Baycott has a lot to do with it. Last year, 16 and 13, almost 2 blocks per game, and can legitimately take a step forward on this loaded Tar Heels team. That will do it for your BSN timeout. Make sure you stay locked to the Bettor Sports Network and check out Green Screens Media on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube so you don't miss a minute of our college basketball coverage. Green Screens.
Tossed by Mixon on first and goal, and Mixon into the end zone for the touchdown. What a statement by Cincinnati on the opening drive as they march it in for 6.
Burrow under center. We'll see if he sneaks. He's got 3 touchdown runs. He does sneak. He appears to be in. There's a penalty flag down. The officials are charging up the goal line. There's the touchdown signal. Now we'll find out if it stands.
Bettor Zone is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every second of every game.
All right, what's up? Back up and Adam, Jock Market, NFL Game Day Takeover right here on the Bettor Zone. Corey Parson, Adam Ronis, Tom Casale coming to you week number 9. Audio you heard was courtesy of Fox Sports and the Bengals Radio Network. Cincinnati Bengals 14-0 lead right now over the visiting Carolina Panthers. Also just saw Devontae Adams, Derek Carr hook up for their second touchdown combination of the day. Got a 17-0 lead down there in Duval County with the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's where we stand right now as far as the latest action. Let's get caught up to date with our first Jock Market leaderboard. So at the quarterback position, Jalen Hurts right now, numero uno, 20 fantasy points in the PPR. Derek Carr, QB2, 15 fantasy points in the PPR, 2 passing touchdowns early for Derek Carr. Davis Mills currently quarterback number 3. Mills the other night had 2 passing touchdowns and 154 passing yards. Joe Burrow already in the end zone, 117 passing, also a rushing touchdown, 3 yards rushing for Joe Burrow. And that's where we stand in that one right there. Ronis, Joe Burrow having a pretty solid season coming off his trip to the championship game last year.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the ceiling is a little bit lower without Jamar Chase. I know everyone was like, oh, they're going to suck without Chase because of what we saw against Cleveland. Again, I can't really explain that game considering Cleveland's defense. But, yeah, division rival on the road. And he was sacked 5 times in that game, the most since early in the season. But, yeah, he's going to be fine. He's going to put up numbers. He's not been sacked today, had the clean pocket. Mixon is even having a huge game. Mixon's had great volume this year, but he has not been very efficient, but 8 for 57. So apparently Carolina, the crappy Carolina showing up again because they are on the verge of just getting stomped here as Bengals are in the red zone again. So, yeah, Joe Burrow's going to be fine. He's going to be a top 5, top 7 fantasy quarterback the rest of the way. You hope that Jamar Chase can get back. They didn't put him on injured reserve. So, with him, I mean, we talked about it that they were starting to pass the ball a lot more with those wide receivers, with Boyd, Mixon, Boyd, Chase, and Higgins. So they'll still be fine without Chase. Just the ceiling could be lowered a little bit against more competitive teams.
Tom, Miami Dolphins block Chicago Bear punt, return it to the end zone. Miami are now up 21-10 over the Chicago Bears. Darn it.
That game,
disgusted with that.
That game was going back and forth. That was a big play. You don't see too many block punts in the NFL. You
block a punt, you more than likely win the game.
Yeah, this isn't Notre Dame and Iowa offense here. They don't. You don't see it that often, and it goes back for a touchdown. That's a killer. I thought you were actually in good shape because it looked. I mean, the Bears starting to become an over.
Yeah.
The Cowboys scored a lot of points. Them and the Dolphins are scoring a lot of points. That's something to look at moving forward.
Yeah, so still plenty of time left to go in that one. I tried to take a swing at it, money line parlay with the Bears and the Rams, but me and I make it to the Rams. But it is what it is.
Hey, well, the Chargers scored, and Ronas, you're supposed to be on this Josh Palmer stuff.
I was just going to ask you. I didn't want to interrupt. What number do you have it at?
55.5.
He's at 52.
Oh, already? That's good. Feel good about that, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, well, luckily they got behind early, so they had to start throwing the ball. But I think we still got a shot there in that game. Luckily, like Rona said, I thought that was a big possession. They stopped them. They went down and scored a touchdown. Now we're right back in the mix there.
Hey, what about Carter, Adam? We seen anything with DeAndre Carter yet?
No, man, and I don't know if they were using him as a decoy or something because remember he had the illness, but he was active, but he has not been targeted. And Herbert has attempted 14 passes, 11 of 14, and it's Bandy who has 3 catches for 11 yards, Everett 3 for 19, Palmer 452. Yeah, and I did start DeAndre Carter in the league, so I'm not happy about this.
Let's get back to our Jock Market leaderboard. Quarterback number 5 on the week is Justin Fields. He has a touchdown pass already. He's also run for 45 yards. Josh Allen, QB 6.
And Fields, by the way, just that included. He's got 45 yards, right? He just had a 17-yard run. I mean, again, that's why he's going to be really good for fantasy the rest of the year, man.
Yeah, running more.
All right, Josh Allen, 92 passing yards, interception, and a rushing touchdown for Allen. Tua's getting it done, 111 in the passing touchdown. Quarterback number 8, Kirk Cousins, he has 95 passing yards and a passing touchdown. Aaron Rodgers is currently quarterback 9, a miserable quarterback 9. Aaron Rodgers with 3 fantasy points, 108 passing yards, and 2 interceptions already for Aaron Rodgers to go along with 16 rushing yards. Marcus Mariota is QB 10, just took a humongous sack, Mariota. 16 rushing yards already, 57 passing yards for Mariota. Justin Herbert is QB 11, 95 passing yards. That lone touchdown in the game was Austin Eckler. Jared Goff also right now, 5-9, 59 passing yards for one Mr. Jared Goff. That's your quarterback leaders right now. As we getting ready, I'm pretty much into the second quarter of most of the games. Joe Mixon already off to a big day. Mixon just scored his 2nd touchdown of the day. So Mixon right now is running back number 1. Mixon with 24 points in the PPR, 64 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Also, 43 receiving yards, 2 receptions for Mixon. Hey, Ronas, maybe that's the answer to Jamar Chase. Just get the ball to Mixon some more.
But they have, though, all year. I mean, there are times that they've been doing it too much. I know we've had the discussion here on this show, and they were starting to open it up by going to the receivers more. Because if you look at what Mixon has done this year, coming into today, he's averaging 3.3 yards per carry. It just has not been good. They have been feeding him the football. But clearly today against Carolina, one of his best games of the year, no question about it already, with 2 rushing touchdowns. And that's the thing, too, with Mixon. You know, I had gotten a question and someone wanted to bench Mixon. I'm like, look, you can't, man. He's getting huge volume and he's getting a lot of touches in the red zone. I know they haven't translated to touchdowns, but with this offense and the volume he gets, he was going to have a week like this. And he's already 10 for 64 with 2, and he even has caught 2 passes for 43 yards. So, you know, Mixon's a guy that you just have to leave in the lineup every week because the volume is huge.
Miles Sanders, running back 2 on the week right now. Miles Sanders on Thursday night, 93 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown for Sanders. Damian Pierce also 139 rushing yards on Thursday night. Good for 13 points in the PPR. Kenneth Gainwell Thursday night comes through, 22 rushing yards, does get in the end zone. Also 16 catches, 16 receiving yards on 3 catches. Austin Eckler, Tom, already out to a big start. 24 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown. Also one reception for 13 yards. Austin Eckler is probably somebody our Chargers are going to lean on heavy if they want to get the win today with their receiver injuries.
Yeah, I mean, you got to expect a huge game from Eckler. They're going to use him both as a running back and a receiver. It's like you mentioned here before, Corey, you know, Eckler really needs those receiving yards to be fantasy relevant. You know, he's not a power back. But, yeah, big day. You also mentioned the 2 Eagles running backs. Listen, I just tell you this right now. If I was the Texans, all I would do in practice is work on getting off blocks. I cannot believe how bad they are at that. Just any running back facing that team, start them. I don't care who it is. Backup running backs. I mean, they are just dreadful against the run.
We've seen another punt block. New England Patriots block a punt. Patriots now control the ball in their red zone. 1st and goal for New England. And Ramondre Stevenson loses a couple yards. So, yeah, special teams a big part of the game.
What are the odds of that happening? And now the Patriots not even halftime yet. The Patriots do kind of run the Notre Dame Iowa offense. they score in weird ways. So that one makes more sense.
So 2 block punts on the day. Special teams obviously critical in the way these games play out. My man Cordero Patterson back in action. Patterson back in action right now, running back 6 on the day, 10 points in the PPR, 25 rushing yards, a touchdown for Patterson. Also has 1 catch for 9 yards. So we're seeing Cordero Patterson come in and immediately start to get it done. Touchdown, Mac Jones to Ramondre Stevenson. New England getting ready to go up 13-0 possibly in this game right here as they cash in on 2nd and goal. Devin Singletary in one of my fantasy lineups today, running back 7. 22 receiving yards, 20 rushing yards. Early good start for Singletary, 7 in the PPR. Raheem Mostert, 1 carry, 1 rushing touchdown, 5 yards for the Miami Dolphins. Travis Etienne starting to pick it up now. 26 rushing yards, 2 catches for 17 yards for Travis Etienne. Tyler Algier right now, running back 11 on the day. 50 rushing yards, 5 PPR points for Algier. The aforementioned David Montgomery, 26 rushing yards. He does have 1 catch for 8 receiving yards as well. And that is where we stand with our top 12 running backs right now. Getting ready to hit up and look at the wide receivers. Before that, we do see where the Jacksonville Jaguars are inside the red zone right now. They're down 17-0. A Travis Etienne touchdown would be very good for his fantasy owners right now. There you go right there. Travis Etienne gets in the end zone.
Hey, guys, listen, he looks fantastic.
Yeah,
you know what I never understand is, like, what a coach – I don't mean this to sound the wrong way, but, like, just run the guy. What do coaches care how many years he has? Just run him. I mean, Jimmy Johnson didn't care if Emmett died on the field. You know what I mean? Like, listen, they're worried about this. That guy looks fantastic. Give him the football.
He did fumble, but I think he was across. I think he was across the goal line. I hope so, since I have him. It's tough to see. They called it a touchdown on the field. I think he was across the plane, but we'll see. But yeah, look, it took until last week, and James Robinson. I mean, I drafted this guy in a lot of leagues in the 3rd round, thinking he's going to be the guy, and I just had to stay patient. But you saw it last week against Denver. He's averaging like 6 yards per carry.
He
He's
just
a good
has
receiver.
an extra gear. I mean, he's getting through that hole.
It doesn't make sense sometimes.
He's the best player on the team.
Yeah,
and they need to
give
him the ball. Yeah, they need to give him the ball as much as they can. Hopefully, that was not a turnover by him. I do see where that ball is out. He could be
close. Yeah, well, he's the best. Luckily, he doesn't play for the Packers, or they would never use him.
Yeah, exactly. What was I about to say right quick? You talk about look at Bum Phillips. What he did with Earl Campbell.
Yeah, they don't care.
50 times a game. He didn't care. In the NFL where you can clothesline people, he was giving him the ball 50 times a game.
In today's NFL, Eddie George probably would have had 5 more years.
That's good.
Just keep giving him the ball. Who cares?
Just had a big rushing touchdown from Josh Allen. So he's getting it done. Buffalo Bills handling the New York Jets. That's where we're at right there. Let's get to the wide receivers. Listen, already Devontae Adams with a 30-burger on the day.
Dude, if you're playing against him this week, see ya.
I actually have him. Hey, this might be a good week for Casali's fantasy team. My guys are.
Oh, thank goodness the ETN counts.
All right, so that ETN touchdown is good to go. Cincinnati Bengals just intercepted PJ Walker, so the Bengals already up 21-0. Looks like they're going to get a chance to roll that trendy underdog, the Carolina Panthers. Told you to be wary of them, and Cincinnati's putting on the show right now. Still not even at halftime yet. But yeah, Devontae Adams, wide receiver 1 right now, 7 receptions, 126, 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson got on the board early. Hasn't done much since with 5 catches, 57 yards and a touchdown for Jeff. That's 16 in the PPR. A.J. Brown, 15 the other night in the PPR, 4 catches, 59 yards and a touchdown. Chris Moore, 14 PPR points, 43 receiving yards. He also had a receiving touchdown. Steph Diggs right now, early in the day, is wide receiver 5. Diggs with 5 receptions for 93 yards. Alan Lazard, wide receiver 6, 11 points in the PPR, 3 catches for Lazard, 89 yards. We mentioned and talked about Tyreek Hill earlier. He is wide receiver 7. Tyreek Hill, 28 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown, and 1 flip. What's going on, Ronas?
Looks like my man Darnell Mooney.
Oh, Justin Fields.
Told you, Tom.
Justin Fields dropping dimes.
I just didn't want to jinx you, Ronas. I didn't want to jinx you. My quarterback situation this year hasn't been good when Dak isn't playing. So
I think Fields might be on a lot of championship teams this year in fantasy, man. For real. I mean, you've seen it. It's taken some time.
The running quarterbacks, man, it's amazing.
Exactly. And look at this schedule coming up.
Yeah.
Lions, Falcons, Jets, Packers, and Eagles tough. Eagles and Bills. But you know what? Playing from behind in those games.
Playing from behind. And
and then championship week at Detroit.
I was just going to say, I once played for a fantasy championship and started Tim Tebow at quarterback. He got 30 points. You know what I mean? Like, if these running quarterbacks just give you an extra element of points. And I think, do you think let's say your average fantasy player, do you think that they would still start an Aaron Rodgers over a Justin Fields based purely on name?
No.
If you're starting Aaron Rodgers now, you suck at fantasy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You suck.
You suck. Please, Rox. Do not start.
I'm just asking, like how long does it take?
My goodness.
But I'm talking like like my buddy's wife plays fantasy and she's kind of on the fringe.
I didn't mean to say she sucks. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, you're like so many people play fantasy football, right? That don't go and read your stuff, or they just play it. Do you think, does it take them a while to realize a guy like Justin Fields, who wasn't even drafted, is the guy you should be starting?
I think by now, especially when you have a network like this, there's so much good information out there. If you're following the right people, they're going to tell you. And this was the highest I had ranked Rodgers this week. My ranking is fantasyalarm.com, only because of the matchup against Detroit and 6 teams on bye. But I had him outside the top 20 last week. You cannot start this guy. I mean, the numbers are not there. I just mentioned he hasn't had more than 20 points in fantasy this year. It's just not happening. And Fields, with his ability to run, and I said he just needs to do like 170 5 and 1 passing touchdown, and he always has a chance to score a rushing touchdown. So that's just better than what you're getting from Brady, Stafford, Rodgers. So yeah, I had Fields 8, 9 this week, and I know 6 teams are on bye, but I think he's going to be in that 10 to 15 range a lot of weeks going forward. And yeah, I mean, Rodgers, he's dropped in a lot of high stakes leagues. I know I saw in the NFFC, he's on a lot of waiver wires, and he should be.
Back to the wide receiver leaderboard. Wide receiver 8 right now. Phil Dorsett with 9 points in the PPR. Dorsett 3 catches, 69 yards. Josh Palmer 4 for 52. DeAndre Carter just gets tackled on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, I thought that was him. I was going to say, damn it, we need that touchdown. You started him too, Corey?
Yeah, I started him too. So everybody who has some DeAndre Carter action today, he is involved. He just got tackled at the 1 yard line. Joe Mixon also back in the end zone. Joe Mixon have a day wide open. Joe Mixon's got it going 28-0 right now.
Damn, if you have a
Panthers getting
a Mixon Devontae Adams team, holy crap.
Oh boy, you're going crazy today. Yeah, so Mixon 13 for 88, 3 touchdowns, also 2 catches for 43 yards. He's getting it done. Alan Lazard, wide receiver 10 on the day. Lazard, 2 catches, 55 yards. Garrett Wilson, my man, 4 catches, 33 yards for Garrett Wilson. T. Higgins, 4 catches, 32 yards for T. Higgins, as that Bengals offense is rolling today. Let's see what's going on in Atlanta right now. Red zone
Hopefully
opportunity.
we see a touchdown.
Red zone opportunity.
I know Ronas already saw it.
Nah.
I knew they didn't score because Ronas didn't react. So I knew that pass had no chance.
So we got.
Yeah, I could use a touchdown to either Everett, Palmer, Carter. I don't have any Eckler this year. They'll probably give it to Eckler on this play. Oh,
hey, does Eckler do that show, that fantasy show every week?
I think so, right?
Wow, that's impressive. Every week during the season, that's pretty cool.
Well, he just scored a receiving touchdown.
So there you go, right there. Austin Eckler gets in the end zone. Looks like the Chargers
baby,
to take a 14-10 lead into the half. Atlanta goes up 10-0. The Falcons come back. Atlanta goes up 10-0. The Chargers come back with back-to-back touchdowns. So now they get on top down there in Atlanta. Our top tight end on the day right now is Dallas Goedert. Goddard, 8 catches, 100 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Cole Kmet, we saw his touchdown earlier. He has 12 in the PPR, 27 receiving yards, 3 catches in that touchdown. Wide receiver, tight end 3. Quentin Tarantino, 1 catch, 2 yards. TJ Hawkinson, 3 catches, 24 yards. What do you think of Hawk joining Minnesota?
I thought it was kind of lateral for his move because I didn't see him getting as much volume, but he's in a better offense that should score more points. So they talked about how they wanted to get him involved immediately, and that he was immediately when he got to they were going over plays for the playbook. So it's kind of look, you look at the tight end landscape, he's kind of got to remain as a top 10 tight end. There's just not a lot of good ones, but could be some more scoring opportunities. But we have seen Minnesota struggle today, and I'm not surprised. I thought Washington would keep this game close. It's only 7-0, and Washington is in Minnesota territory. So if you have him in fantasy, you just keep using him. Certainly helps Minnesota, who's trying to make a push in the postseason. I mean, it's crazy to think that they probably have this division locked up at this point because, I mean, unless the Bears surprise us, I mean, it's hard to see Minnesota. They have the biggest, I believe, the biggest lead of any division leader. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to be tough. They're going to either be the 1 or the 2 seed in the NFC.
That Washington game, the red zone hasn't been on there all day.
Ain't nobody been in the red zone.
That's a typical Washington game. Your phone not blowing up today, Corey?
Nothing today. You know what I'm saying? Nothing today. Hawkinson told you about Gerald Everett right now on the day, tight end 5 today. Gerald Everett, 3 catches for 19 receiving yards. Hayden Hurst, 3 catches, 17 yards, 4 points in the PPR. Josiah DeGura, 2 catches, 27 yards, 4 in the PPR. Forster Monroe, 1 catch, 30 yards. Forster Monroe holding it down for Darren Waller. I got a question about Darren Waller coming up. Jonnu Smith, tight end 9, 3 points in the PPR, 1 reception for 24 yards. Mercedes Lewis still getting it done. a catch for 19 yards. Hunter Henry is tight end 11, 2 for 9. Dawson Knox, tight end 12, 2 catches, 8 yards. Tight end 13, right on the outside. He's right there. Kyle Pitts, 1 catch for 18 yards or 3 targets. That's your Jock Market leaderboard as we get ready to head to halftime on most of these 1 p.m. Eastern time starts. We'll get you some live odds coming back up here just in a second. But first, I want to ask Tom. Sort of reports came out, right? I always kind of hate when this happens. Boy, Miami just gets right down the field so quick with Tyreek Hill. Right, Tom? So whenever a trade deadline passes, a team will always come out and say, or they'll leak a story. Oh, we tried to do this. We tried to do that. Like, for example, this week with the Packers. Oh, we tried to get Chase Claypool. We tried to get Darren Waller. Well, to me, they're saying to their fan base, hey, don't be mad. We tried, but you didn't try good enough.
Yeah. And when you say teams, you mean always the Packers, right?
Yeah, that's what
yeah. Every trade deadline is the same thing. Well, we were interested in him. And listen, the second the Cowboys or the Rams sign OBJ, you know what you're going to hear? Yeah. Well, the Packers were in on him, but they couldn't get the deal done. You're right. Like that's to tell that's to say to the fans, oh, look, we're trying. Yeah, but no, you're not really trying if you're not getting the player. Right. I thought the Packers really needed to do something. LaRonis is right. The team is a disaster. I don't know if one trade would have changed all that, but if your quarterback is 100 years old, you got to do something, right? You got to hope maybe you catch lightning in a bottle, you get a Waller or someone, and it just changes the offense. You got to try to do something because you're playing on borrowed time here. I was surprised. I don't want to say I was surprised because they never do anything, but you were 100% right, man. I don't know who's that reporter that always gets fed that stuff from the Packers. Oh, the Packers were in on this guy. The Packers were in on that guy. They never sign anyone.
Yeah, it's just talk to calm the fans down. You know what I'm saying? They're really not trying to do anything but be status quo or not give up picks that, listen, they wanted a second and a fourth because your pick is going to be, well, in years past, your pick is going to be lower in the round. You know what I'm saying? So you need to add a little bit more. They didn't do it. They said, oh, well, they wanted Ronis. They was talking about, oh, well, for Claypool, they wanted a second and a fourth. We weren't willing to do that. Well, why not?
Why not? Why not?
They're a joke, and it goes back to when they drafted Jordan Love and A.J. Dillon in the first 2 rounds, when you had a team on the precipice of, Super Bowl contention, and you were lacking playmakers, and you hit Aaron Rodgers going over all the receivers they passed on the draft with T. Higgins and Jefferson. They've been doing this every year. So I was not stunned at all that the Packers didn't do nothing. It's the same thing every year. And I know people like to crap on Rodgers, and I get that. But at the same time, what has Green Bay done to help him offensively? This is the first year in 20 years they actually drafted receivers, and it's Dobbs and Watson.
Yeah.
Your quarterback is near the end of his career. What have you done to help him? They've done nothing. And it's the same story year after year after year.
Yep. I'm curious, Ronis, your thoughts on Calvin Ridley to Jacksonville. Jaguars going out there and getting a true WR1 when he's healthy and ready for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, give him another weapon. It makes sense. He was really good the last time we saw him play. So a year off, maybe a little rust early on, but you need to get weapons for Lawrence. So makes sense.
Do you think?
Go ahead. Green Bay is now down 7-0 as Jared Goff throws a touchdown pass to Shane Zylstra, who everyone is starting.
Yeah, big day for Shane. Tom, are you Calvin Ridley? Before he took his he had the little thing. I guess he wasn't feeling well where he took off last year, for personal reasons. Before that, though, he wasn't playing that good. But the 2 seasons previously, he looked like he was going to be a top receiver in this league. So much that Julio, he was outplaying Julio Jones, albeit it was the back end of Julio's career.
Yeah, and that's something where obviously there's issues off the field that teams have to look into that, we just don't know about. I have to question guys who are playing 16 parlays. Let's come on, let's go. If you're going to
He's
get
got
caught
a lot
for
of money,
betting,
though.
if you're going to get caught for betting, let's make it a good bet. But listen, I think it's worth a shot. Like you said, a couple years ago, this guy was as good as we're watching in football. He was having a phenomenal year. And you're looking at Jacksonville, sometimes I'm pretty hard on Trevor Lawrence. I just don't like guys like him and the guy who overtook him in Clemson, missing wide receivers by 10 yards. That doesn't have anything to do with offensive line or receivers. Number one, and then Ronus's guy, Christian Kirk, can slide over to that number two. Ronus brings this point up a lot, and I agree 100%. Sometimes receivers are miscasted, right? No one thinks Kirk's a number one, but you put him at number two off that, double teaming and everything a number one gets, then you got something going there. So I think it was worth the risk.
Yeah, Kirk is getting number one money, but not necessarily a number one wide receiver. That was a terrible pass by Tua, but it was complete thanks to his great wide receivers.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you have good wide receivers.
Yeah, he slipped on that play, and you guys mentioned some of the. I think they had a lot of rain the last couple of days. It's sunny there now in Chicago, but that field is never good, and you can see it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Waddle and Tyreek already. Tyreek's at 67. I have over. What did I get it at? I got it 86.5. I played Waddle last week. I think those are two guys.
You're gonna play them every week.
Over yards every week.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, because. That's the one thing that's great about the Dolphins offense. Those guys get the ball. Yeah. You don't have to really worry about it.
You don't worry about it. Like, it's not going to be Shane Leckler in the back of the end zone. It's going to be Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill.
They brought in Cedric Wilson. They don't even use him. I mean, he's got a 14-yard catch. Sherfield's got 2 for 19. But those guys are getting the football. So I think they're, every week, they're good to play the over. And Waddles has been in the 60s, and Tyreek seems high, but
it's gonna be interesting to see where those start to go in the next couple weeks.
Yeah,
guys, I think something that we can finally 100% bet the Bengals when they play an NFC South team. That seems to be a good trend going this year. Huh? They are whooping on Carolina, and our producer makes a good point here. It looks like Chris Evans is ruled out with a knee injury, and Samaje Perine could be a nice pickup on Jock Market if this game gets out of control. And they give Mixon a little bit of a break here in the second half. That's a good eye right there. But we mentioned it earlier, Corey, that some people were on Carolina.
It's good. Listen,
when they're playing AFC teams out of conference, that's not the time to take Carolina.
The New York Jets get in the end zone. Michael Carter with a touchdown run. Jets down 14-9. Extra point pending. That game getting ready to go to halftime. We all get ready to hit halftime in all of these games. Let's head away. Take a quick break. When we come back, we look at our Jock Market live odds board. It is the Bettor Zone on a Jock Market NFL Game Day takeover right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL Game Day. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network.
Joined now by Dave Eisman, co-founder of Jock Market. Dave, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
How you doing?
Thank you for coming on. Sponsoring the show on the network and everything, man. We much appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have one of your I don't know what you should call him, not a sycophant really, maybe a disciple, maybe I don't know, John Legeza on once in a while, and he is
he's on it,
all in caps Jock Market, and his enthusiasm for it. I mean, look. I remember we had Jock Market sponsor one of the athletic shows a while ago too, so I was familiar with the game. But he is the proselytizer big time of your game.
Yeah, right from the jump. The second we first started talking to him, it was very clear it was a match. He got the game. It was he's a big stock guy too. So the crossover between that and him making picks every day, it's really like a match, perfect match for us.
That's cool. That's what's up. Me and Nando, we've talked to. I mean, we've been doing shows for a long time. And I remember back in the day, interviewing Nigel and Jason Robbins and all of that stuff. And one of the interesting things when we talked to Nigel was hearing about the story of FanDuel and how it kind of came about at South by Southwest. How did Jock Market come about? Where did the thought process come from? What were you into at the time? What were you looking to do? How did Jock Market become to be the app that's on our phones today?
Yeah, no, great question. So, working with my co-founder Tyler at our previous company, we played a lot of DraftKings and FanDuel on our own, and obviously we liked it. We loved playing, but figured there were other ways out there, other ways to play that would be more interesting. And we've also both been interested in investing for a long time, and it was kind of crazy that the stock market and sports concept hadn't really been. I mean, it had been people had tried it before, but that it hadn't really worked. And then the daily fantasy spin really showed us an opportunity to make it work, where you can have an intrinsic value for those shares. So you have people coming and buying in shares, but if it's a perpetual market, the shares never pay out. It's kind of hard to figure out what they'll be worth. But in a daily market, you buy those shares, in the afternoon. By that evening, for the most part, they're going to pay out real cash. So you have an intrinsic value. I know, I think this is going to be worth X dollars by the end of the night. So now I have a number I can come and pay for it. So that's really where we saw the opportunity. It's just a matter of making the game work within fantasy sports regulations and making it fun and interesting and give people the opportunity to make money by playing.
Bobby Hart report says eligible. The Bills have Reggie Gilliam, the fullback. Motor Singletary, the tailback, lined up I formation, tight formation. Josh going to keep it himself and dive into the end zone. He's not going to get it cheated out of that touchdown. He's in this time for sure. Touchdown Buffalo. Josh Allen, his third rushing touchdown of the year.
And it is for Allen. And more. Josh Allen, sideline, touchdown. Josh Allen does it himself, 36 yards.
NFL Game Day on Bettor Sports Network is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every hour, every minute, every second of every game.
Shout out to the Buffalo Bills Radio Network and CBS Sports on the call. Josh Allen already in the end zone twice a day right now. Buffalo Bills up 14-10 on the road versus the New York Jets. One of 6 road favorites on the day's 8-game slate. Big week right here, Better Zone. NFL Game Day brought to you by Jock Market. Matter of fact, take a little moment right now to tell you about Jock Market and how you can get involved. Thanks out Jock Market for sponsoring the program today. Jock Market offers live daily markets for sports that lets you buy and sell shares of athletes in real time with others, all for real money. And each share has a guaranteed payout at the end of the night. Download now using promo code BETTOR, that's BETTOR, to receive 100% deposit match up to $100. Your first market will also be risk-free with losses refunded up to $100. Download the Jock Market app now using promo code BETTOR. Jock Market is currently live in 36 states with more to come. NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, PGA Tour, and NASCAR, all available markets on Jock Market. Check it out right now. Do us a favor and look out for the folks that look out for us. Corey Parson, Tom Casale, and Adam Ronis. About halftime right now. What's up, Tom?
I just wanted to say, this is going to sound like Heine kissing, but I haven't heard really much. I didn't hear about Jock Market until they started working with us, and I've been looking at the app and everything today. This is something I could get addicted to. You know why? It's because I'm a selective NFL bettor. I make my money in college basketball and college football. I bet more games. On Sundays, I'm kind of selective. This is something I could see me really getting into on Sundays and buying and trading players. My addictive personality really seems to enjoy this kind of thing. So next week I'm gonna come guns a-blazing. Yeah, with some Jock Market stuff, because I got a feeling there's gonna be a deposit here in the next few minutes.
We can little around today. We'll talk about Jock Market for some of the primetime games coming up later today. Ronis, I hop on it throughout the course of the week. A lot of Tyrese Halliburton, but man, it's hard to find a value with some of these basketball players because the market is so smart. Everybody knows who to go after.
Yeah, I mean, Halliburton was the guy that before the year, even in fantasy, he went in the first round of a lot of drafts, and that would be surprising to a lot of people. Yeah, he went end of first round, early second. Yeah, because you looked at you knew his usage was going to be insane. Indiana was going to be a bad defensive team, play at a fast pace. The market is still below, though, on his props right now. I think the other night I had 27.5 points and assists. He went over. So you are right though, for hoops, it's pretty sharp, and you kind of have to catch someone. Like maybe a guy you could look at now is with Pascal Siakam being out.
Precious.
Precious. Yeah, I picked him, Precious Achua, and Boucher. So, but you got to step in before those prices start to rise. But that's kind of what you have to look at.
Interesting stuff right there. So Jock Market, number of different sports, number of different ways to get involved. Make sure you do that. Go over there, use the promo code Bettor. You can also just hit the link on the app. It'll take you right there, get you involved, and you can be down with the get down. We'll get to the halftime loser board in just a second. Let's take a quick look at some live numbers right now. New England up 13-0 over the Colts. Right now, New England laying 14.5. Tom, if you want to come back with Indianapolis, you're getting plus 900 right now. Down 13-0 to New England. I don't know. Maybe $1 make you holler on that.
No, I'm not interested.
Not interested in Sam Mellinger leading the comeback.
No, listen. The thing about Belichick is it's sometimes his games are kind of straightforward. When he plays a young, like I know they lost to the Bears. They didn't play well that game, but I wouldn't put Sam Ellinger and Justin Fields class. So when he plays a quarterback like this, who probably isn't a starter in the NFL, he's going to shut that guy down. So this was one of those games. I know the pros were on Indianapolis today. My worry was it was going to be like a 20-0 Patriots win, and I think that's where we're headed here.
By the way, we already knew this, but it's official. Mark Andrews is out. He will not travel with the team. Isaiah Likely, top 5 tight end this week. I picked him up in numerous leagues when I saw Andrews was listed as doubtful, where he was still available. So most waiver wires are locked, but there are some. I think sometimes Yahoo stays open before the game starts, but Isaiah Likely going to be a big play this week. With the Colts, man, dude, I am not putting money on this team. Ellinger has been sacked 5 times in this game. 5 times. Look, Deion Jackson was a good play this week because of volume, but we also knew it could be difficult. And he has 8 carries for 16 yards and 1 catch for 5. Michael Pittman, 0 catches on 2 targets. It is ugly. That is a big line, though, and New England will be conservative, but I could see a potential turnover happening here. I just don't see how you can bet on Indianapolis right now with what we've seen here.
The number keeps going in the opposite direction, already up to 11-1. If you want to hop in on the Indianapolis Colts, it's funny, Ronas. You mentioned
Welcome to
to tell you what I did this week, right? I picked up Isaiah Likely in a whole bunch of places too. I actually got outbid in one spot, and I bid up pretty heavy for him because I'm just like disgusted with Darren Waller and a couple other of my tight ends, but I meant to cut J.D. McKissick to pick up Likely, and by accident I cut Deion Jackson.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know that hurts.
I mean, I don't. It might not kill you this.
I'm about to say, and this week I'm all right. It looks like.
But as someone who has Deion Jackson in a lot of lineups, I'm hoping in the second half he catches 4 or 5 passes with them playing from behind. But it's been a process for Ellinger to even complete a pass. I mean, I think most of the 5 completions he had was on this last drive here, 10.5, and then they missed a field goal, a 39-yarder to end the half. So. I think Jonathan Taylor can miss multiple weeks.
Yeah, I think he's hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he already had the ankle issue. They probably brought him back too soon. Wait, is this live right now? Is that another one?
That's another touchdown.
Is
that Joe Mixon again?
Yes.
Yeah, it is Joe Mixon again.
Oh my God, 4 touchdowns. So yeah, you guys are right. P. Ryan, second half. I mean,
you're incredible.
I mean, because Mixon it was a reception this time. Yeah, he got both feet in. My good dude, Mixon, 15 carries, 113 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns, 4 catches, 58 yards, and a receiving touchdown. If you have Mixon and Devontae Adams on the same team, or you played them in DFS, you don't need to worry about playing Powerball. You're cashing in today.
Powerball is like a bill, though. You know what I'm saying?
1.9 billion. You're playing, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw something in there.
Are you going to be here next week if you win?
What do you mean? No.
Yeah, no.
Just so we're clear.
I'll be somewhere high.
If you were, I would lose all respect for you.
I love you guys, and this is so much fun. Yeah. And the show flies by, for real. Like, it does not feel like 4 hours. Like, it's been fun working with you guys. But, sorry. If I win, I'm out.
Where's Adam at? Ronus, in the chat,
I'll give you
Marty
advance
says,
notice. I won't tell you that I won, but I'll be like, yeah.
What happened to Adam? I don't know. I saw some pictures in Aruba on a yacht. Hey, Ronus, Marty says in the chat he picked up Justin Fields in the home league last week. So
yeah,
you go.
my home league. See, the reason why I didn't is in that league, it's pretty deep. When we start two flexes, I really don't want to have two quarterbacks. I do have Kyler Murray, and it's been up and down, but you have Murray, you're playing him most weeks, and with DeAndre Hopkins back, he's really good. So, and Murray doesn't have a bye to week 14, so that's why I didn't on Fields. But yeah, I mean, the league we're in, the GST, I drafted Fields with Dak, but what happened was Dak got hurt week 1, and you saw what Fields was doing in week 2 and week 3. I was like, I can't do this.
He didn't look like a professional. Yeah,
right. I can't do this. So I got Mariota. That sucked, and I got Geno Smith. So I have Geno and Dak now, but I kind of wish I had Fields and someone already picked him up. Because again, I think Fields is going to be a guy that I rank, I think, as a top 12 quarterback most weeks. And we went over the schedule the next few weeks. It looks really, really good.
Looks like maybe Carolina was trying an onside kick or a squid kick or something before halftime, and then the Bengals just get the ball right back. Thankfully, time ran out. What happened?
Did you see these stats for Carolina in the first half?
19 yards offense, something like that, right?
Oh, Foreman, 3 carries, 7 yards. DJ Moore, not even a target. I think it was a penalty on a play for him. Marshall, 0. Oh my god. They have, Walker has 9 passing yards, and they have 23 rushing yards. Wow, bro.
Yeah. So
this is, oh man.
Now,
hey, Ronus,
don't forget
Ronus, you like Isaiah Likely? He's $1.03 on Jock Market.
Oh,
buy him?
Yes. Look, I know the Saints have been good against the tight end this year, but I don't care. If you saw Likely last week.
Yeah.
When Likely came, first of all, they loved him. They were talking about him in the preseason. I drafted him in a league late where we had 20 rounds. I'm like, all right, let me see what they do. And he didn't really have a big role early on. Week 2, I think he had 4 for 43. And then he wasn't doing much. I'm like, all right, I'll cut him. But last week he came in, 7 targets, 6 for 77 and a touchdown. We know Lamar Jackson loves to throw to tight end. Absolutely. That is easy, man. Again, I have him ranked 5th at tight end this week, and I am playing him in a lot of leagues this week. So definitely.
I actually flexed him in some spots.
I did too.
Likely. What college did he go to?
Coastal Carolina, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Coastal Carolina. Yeah,
Ravens just see tight ends, man. They usually,
well, then they do better than that than they do at wide receivers. Oh, your boy Bateman. I thought about you, Ronus, when Bateman out for the season. I know you was invested in him this year.
Yeah, that crushed me, man. I had to drop him in leagues.
What do you
by the way,
there, Ronus? Is there any wide receiver worth it
for Baltimore? I mean,
yeah, like a lottery ticket on anyone.
I'm not putting any bets on them, but I mean, if you're desperate, Duvernay, Demarcus Robinson, but Likely is the guy for me. By the way, James Conner is active.
All right, James Conner is active.
Doesn't mean he's going to be good, but
they're about to say that doesn't make too much of a difference. Let's get back to our live odds boards. Commanders and Vikings. Vikings with a 7-0 lead early in the third quarter. Vikings laying 3.5 line live. Excuse me. You want to come back with Washington? You're at plus 175. Any takers on anything on this game? Doesn't sound like it.
I haven't seen enough of it is the problem, is that they barely showed it on the red zone, what I have on here. So I don't have a good feel for the game. I don't think that's the worst bet in the world. Like you said, the Vikings like to let games not slip away. They're 7-1, but at least lose the lead late and then come back. I could live with a Washington money line there.
All right. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Minnesota's outgained them, but they're in this game. They're only down 4. And they are giving Gibson more carries, but Robinson is starting to get some here on this drive.
That's 7-3. Excuse me. That's 7-3 Commanders. Right now, actually, the odds just changed. Wow, something must have just happened because Washington's on a 1.5 point favorite. So something just happened in that game, and it's coming back with the Vikings.
They're starting the ball
115.
Yeah, they have the ball to start the second half. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Something happened. Something happened because Twitter's talking about Heineke.
So there you go, right there. Right quick, Cordell Patterson just had a touchdown run.
Take him back.
he looked like Jim Brown running the football.
They got called back from holding.
Oh, okay. Thank God we needed that. But he looked like Jim Brown. I'm like,
oh,
man,
wow. That's why.
athlete.
Holy crap. Curtis Samuel just caught a pass in triple coverage.
Right, so there you go.
He shouldn't have thrown that.
Wow. What a play right there. Yeah.
And Curtis Samuel's not a big receiver. This is not like a 6'5" guy. All right, go get it in triple coverage. No.
That looked like the play they won on last week down with at the end against the Colts, where they threw up that's Heineke just going to throw it up, baby. Hey, we're live on Washington. Let's do it.
There we go.
Romeo Doubs is ruled out for the game.
So we got Romeo Doubs ruled out for the Green Bay Packers. Indianapolis Colts, New England Patriots, talked about that. Still sitting 9-1. Las Vegas Raiders, Jacksonville Jaguars. Raiders 20, Jaguars 10. With the Raiders, you're laying 6.5 live. You want Jacksonville to possibly win the game. You're coming back at plus 310. Anything here, Tom?
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that one because I like the Raiders originally. So, I'm not going to take talk about a team that finds a way to lose games, Jacksonville.
Raiders
too,
though, right?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, they're in the same boat. That's to me, I kind of like the Raiders a little bit this week, but what you guys are saying is why I didn't bet it, right? You got two teams that are finding ways to lose, so I'm just not interested.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. It's just a tough spot, especially where the Raiders have played so far this season. And if you already have a play on it, then you might not want to go back to it. So there you go, right there. And
damn it.
Oh, wow. Big time play from our Los Angeles Chargers as they who was it? Was that Huntley, Ronas?
Number 5, London, Drake London. And
Drake London.
Was that Khalil Mack who just took the ball out of his hands?
That's Corey.
Corey.
That's why we dominate. That's why we dominated the youth football league, baby. We teach that in practice.
There you
They
go.
pulled a Casale youth football trick right there. Just grab it right away and go. Let's go.
Take the ball and
that
go.
was big for our Chargers bet.
That was huge. Atlanta looked like they were driving for a touchdown. Big takeaway. Chargers get the ball back. Now they're marching towards their own territory. So that's what we said in that game right there. If you're looking live at that one, right now, Los Angeles laying 6.5. Atlanta coming back at plus 275. Jalen Waddle, best end zone dance in the NFL, is going down right now as Waddle gets in the end zone, 18-yard touchdown pass from Tua. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know how many of these same game parlays you do, but just take the Dolphins every week and do like Tua over 200 yards, Waddle over 60, Tyreek over 80. I mean, it's every week.
Who do they play next week? I want to. That's going to be interesting to see. A funny thing about these sports books, they don't like to lose money. So
they play the Browns on the 13th.
It'll be interesting to see what those totals are. Remember, everybody, Corey was hitting those NHL first period overs.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then the book said, enough of that. Here's minus 250. Here, take that. You know what I mean? So pretty soon, there's going to be some major movement here.
I don't understand why Tyreek's not up near 100 for receiving yards. They've done it with some of the other receivers.
They have.
I know Devontae Adams used to be around there. Cooper Kupp stays around
Jefferson.
there. Yep.
Yeah. I hope they don't do it because I like the 86, but I'm just saying, it kind of doesn't make sense. But yeah, they got the Browns next week, and then they have a bye, and then the Texans.
All right. Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers. This game is in Detroit where Green Bay has struggled. They're struggling again today. Lions lead 8-0. Lions laying 2.5 live. You can come back at $1.10 plus 110 with Green Bay. Ronas, I don't think there's no way you can trust the Green Bay Packers to do anything right now. So
hell no, man. There's no way.
Yeah,
I mean, look, and can they win this game? Sure, but you're in the first half, you have 0 against Detroit. I mean, what are we doing here, man? And then Dobbs, who was starting to come on, he's out for the game. Lazard has 2 for 55. That's like the one trusted receiver. But this is a spot where, okay, let's run the football. And Jones, 7 for 22. Dillon, 7 for 20. So it's just an absolute mess, this team right now, man. And
Ronas, you know what's interesting? Listen, I'm not an NFL football coach, but
they're showing Aaron Glenn on the sideline. He need to be ashamed of himself.
Yeah.
He should be holding the thing like this so they don't see his face.
But you know what's interesting about the Packers is I thought we'd see more maybe Dillon in the backfield and Jones lined up in the slot, given their lack of receivers. But they haven't really used them that way much this year.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. And as we were talking on a 3rd and 11, Rodgers tries to go deep and the play is broken up. So it's just the same story. And actually, a better throw. Yeah, he probably had him for a touchdown, but it was a little short. So yeah, this offense is just a mess. And again, people were like, "Okay, this is the week for Green Bay. They're playing Detroit. It is a divisional game, and we've seen Detroit play Green Bay.
You know what Green Bay is the last 5 games versus Detroit? 0-5 ATS, 2-3 on the money line. This is not a given.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. And look, Detroit is definitely underachieved this year, but we've seen them be competitive in some games, not go away, not make it easy for teams. And again, it's just really difficult. I think Tampa and Green Bay are the teams that people are going based on reputation in previous years. Rams too. I mean, the Rams have lost 3 of their last 4 games by double digits. At some point, you got to go, okay, this is what we're watching. This is what we're seeing this year. These teams are just not any good. And these quarterbacks have not been playing well.
Nah, that is the case. We do got that game coming up later on today. We'll break that down between the Rams and the Buccaneers, the 2 last teams to win the championship, but neither team is in championship form so far this season. Green Bay Packers normally don't win championships, but they're not looking like a playoff team right now. As a matter of fact, let's take a break here. Let's come back. Let's hit the Jock Market leaderboard. After the leaderboard, we'll go into hour number 3, take a quick look at if the playoffs started today, and then we'll get into the time of the day where we separate the wins from the losses. It's a big Jock Market NFL game, Jock Market NFL game day takeover. When we come back, we'll look at the Jock Market leaderboard as we move into the 3rd quarter right here in week 9 on the Bettor Zone.
Bettor Zone is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every second of every game.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just banning the porn bots real quick.
Whenever the porn bots, I will say, dude, whenever the porn bots show up, it means we're doing something good. It means that we're showing up. So, they wouldn't find us if we weren't, if the live stream wasn't good. So, you know what? We welcome you here. Tinder-hot-.xyz-best of adult dating site. One of our biggest fans.
I attach all of my self-worth to how many porn bots come into our show in the morning. If we don't get any porn bots, I go the rest of the day thinking, like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't Tinder-xyz.com want to hang out with me this morning?
Yeah. People ask, how was the show? I'm like, not that good.
No porn bots.
Porn bots showed up.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19.
Nice. So, your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to my wife. I would say about he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required, and then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Bettor Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
I formation, Eckler behind Horvath. Takes the handoff, Eckler to the end zone, bounces, stays on his feet. Second effort is good. Touchdown, Chargers. Austin Eckler with his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. Herbert rolling to his right, looking for Eckler. Caught, touchdown, Chargers. Austin Eckler, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air.
Today's NFL Game Day Takeover on Bettor Sports Network is sponsored by Jock Market.
All right. So Jock Market NFL Game Day takeover right here on the Better Zone. Corey, Tom, and Adam. Don't forget, download the Jock Market app right now using promo code BETTOR. That is BETTOR. We had a big play. As a matter of fact, a humongous play while we were going. Justin Fields has been the talk of the day. 61-yard touchdown run, followed by a 2-point conversion. We got a 3-point game in Miami between the Bears and the Dolphins. What a goodie going down right now, Tom. We'll let Tom take a hit, and we'll go to Ronis and see what he's up in arms about, because it'll probably be coming up on our screen shortly. Hopefully it wasn't a turnover.
Fields has been amazing. Fields has been amazing this game. You know, probably could have done with that ball bouncing off Josh Palmer's chest into the arms of a Falcons player. That hit me both ways. I would have won my prop bet, and we got the Chargers. So that was a tough play.
I think that game is headed towards a field goal to win at some point. What do you got, Ronis?
Baker Mayfield starting the second half of the Panthers.
Now, what? Not they taking? Why they ending PJ Walker season? What's up with that? You know what I'm saying? Baker not going to do nothing. You got to give it back to PJ on Thursday night. You know what I mean? No.
I don't know, man, but Baker's already 0 for 1. So just get the ball to DJ Moore, okay? That's all I ask. Jeez, man.
Just do what Ronan says. I see where the Jacksonville Jaguars are inside the red zone right now. Obviously, we don't really care much about Jacksonville. We're looking for an Etienne touchdown. You got first and goal for Trevor Lawrence and the boys as they try to make this a 3-point game. Right now, they are losing by 10 to the Raiders. You know, you would think that my weekday co-host Nando would know better than to literally be blowing me up at this time of day. Like, Nando,
I forgot you were working.
Well, we do care about Jacksonville. I'm sorry. I'm just saying we didn't bet on Jacksonville today. Our interest in Jacksonville is with Trevor Etienne. That's what that is.
Yeah,
right?
I don't care about Jacksonville.
It wasn't Etienne though. It was Christian Kirk touchdown.
All right, so Christian Kirk gets in the end zone. That game right now is getting close. And don't forget, the Raiders have a tendency of throwing these games away. If we look at it live right now, we have, let me find that contest. Right now, Raiders laying 3.5 live. You want Jacksonville, they're coming back at plus 150. So you can get that right there right now. Raiders and Jaguars. If you want to hit that live on DraftKings right now, Jacksonville to win plus 150. You can get the Raiders to cover laying 3.5. That's even juice to plus 110. So right now on DraftKings, you get money. You get plus money on both sides of that wager right there. That's where we stand in that game. We'll get back to that one as we move throughout the third quarter. Keep you up to date with what's going on down there in Duval County. I just see where it looks like Jared Goff doing an interception. So
he did, and you know what happened? A little while later.
Don't tell me Aaron Rodgers threw one.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. They get it right back.
Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. Intended for Tunyon.
I got Packers fans tweeting Paul Rogers, so that's where that organization is right now in the absolute dumps.
And Christian Watson is being evaluated for a concussion.
All right. So that's where we stand right now.
Isn't that like his third or fourth injury this year?
Yeah, he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield is moving the Panthers, so maybe they needed a little spark. Or the Bengals have said, all right,
yeah,
we play next week.
Yeah, the Bengals are in prevent. They're probably eating hot dogs on the sideline. So,
all right, so there we go. Let's get to the back to the leaderboard. I want to hit that up right quick. Look at this. We go to the leaderboard. The first name I see is the player of the day. It is Justin Fields. Justin Fields has moved in to QB1 territory. Justin Fields with a 30 burger on the day. Fields with 114 rushing yards with 1 rushing touchdown and 2-point conversion. He also has thrown 2 touchdowns and 96 passing yards. That's 31 points in the PPR for Justin Fields. QB1 on the day. QB2 is Josh Allen. Right now, Allen 163 passing. Allen also has 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. We've already seen a good start to the week by Jalen Hurts. 20 fantasy points for Jalen Hurts, 243, 2 passing touchdowns He also fumbled, but he also had 23 rushing yards. Ronis, didn't work out well for the Phillies for Philadelphia as far as the Phillies go, but they are still planning a celebration for their Eagles later on this year.
Well, I mean, look, I told you before the year I thought the Eagles were going to win the division, and I think they're really good. But I do agree with you in the sense that we really do need to see Jalen Hurts in a big spot and under pressure. And I also think we might not see it throughout the regular season.
Nope.
The one tough game they put the odds for winning, and the one game that's under 50% is obviously at Dallas. Remember, they beat Dallas, but Dak Prescott didn't play in that game. So that's going to be a test for them. But I don't know if we're going to get an answer of how really good this team is until the postseason. I do think they're really good, but Hurts has kind of been in favorable spots. They haven't really been in a big pressure spot yet. I know they trailed 14-0 against Jacksonville, came back, but I mean, that's not really the big litmus test. So I think we're really going to find out how good this team is in the postseason.
Yep. So I agree with you on that one. So we'll see how that shakes out right there. Cordero Patterson just got in the end zone. Cordero Patterson, that must be his second touchdown on the day.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw Patterson was active, I was worried about the Chargers in this game. Patterson is a difference maker for the Atlanta Falcons. Joe Burrow, QB4 on the day. Burrow with 17 points in a PPR, 169 passing yards for Joe Burrow, 1 passing touchdown. But the star of that game is not Joe Burrow. Derek Carr having a nice little bounce back game. He's QB5 right now. Carr, 223, also 2 passing touchdowns. Tua continuing to get it done. Tua, 14-17, 210, 2 passing touchdowns for Tua, 16 in the PPR. Davis Mills, 154, 2 passing touchdowns for Davis Mills. You know, Tom, last year around this time, you were saying, you know what, Davis Mills is pretty all right, decent quarterback, you know what I'm saying? Doing a good job. Remember this 2021 quarterback class. If you're Houston, is Davis Mills your guy, or are you going for one of the quarterbacks in this upcoming draft?
I'm going for one of the quarterbacks in the upcoming draft. The Davis Mills, to me, seems like a backup spot starter kind of guy. I always say that's not bad. That's an important job in the NFL. Come in for 6 games, don't Cooper Rush, right? Don't lose every game. I think he can be that guy, a Ryan Fitzpatrick type, where if you need him to start, he can start. But do I want to put the entire organization on his shoulders? No, especially with all the quarterbacks coming out, unless they're going to select Will Levis number 1. Then they might as well just keep Davis Mills, because that guy's going to be a bust.
It's funny. We didn't get a chance to chat yesterday, right, Tom? Right, but after how did the game go yesterday? First and foremost,
28-0, Corey. It's all over. We ended the season outscoring teams 322-6, won every game, and that's it. Now my son goes up to modified, and my coaching career with him is done.
All right, there you go. Good stuff right there. So congratulations. Trevor Lawrence right now, QB8 on the day, 13 fantasy points for Lawrence. Does look like Jacksonville is trying to climb back in this game, though. 140 in the passing touch for Lawrence. Kirk Cousins in a revenge matchup versus the Washington Commanders. 172 on the touch for Kirk Cousins, 10 points in the PPR. Taylor Heineke, 121 in the touch. Also, Justin Herbert is QB 11 right now in that game down there. I'm about to say in the Georgia Dome, but that's not the Georgia Dome. That's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 141 in the touch for Herbert. Mac Jones enters the top 12 as well. QB1 territory. Mac Jones, 71 passing yards, a passing touchdown for Mac Jones. That's where we stand right there. Now let's get to the running backs, where we are seeing an epic performance right now. Our RB1 on the day is Joe Mixon. Right now, Mixon has 113 rushing yards, 58 receiving yards on 4 catches. But Mixon, who has 45 points in the PPR, has accounted for 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. Here's one right here.
Shotgun snap back to Joe from the pocket, scrambling to the right, looking into the end zone. Burrow throws, caught. Joe Mixon Joe Mixon tying the Bengals franchise record for touchdowns in a game, and he does it before halftime.
Unbelievable.
3 rushing touchdowns and a touchdown catch. He joins Larry Kinnebrew, Corey Dillon, and Marvin Jones.
Corey
as
Dillon.
the 4th player in Bengals history with a 4-touchdown game.
All right, Q.
I'm excited to get that Larry Kinnebrew reference. Now we're rolling. Let's go.
How about Corey Dillon? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? All right, let's get to.
By the way, real quick, Deion Jackson was down.
Yeah.
He was jogging on the sideline, so I'm hoping he comes back in because I used him in many leagues this week. So I need some points here, man.
So that'd be nice if he came back in. Austin Eckler right now is running back 2, 20 fantasy points for Eckler, 26 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown. Also has 4 catches for 22 yards. We mentioned Cordero Patterson. He's getting it done. Patterson, 2 rushing touchdowns, 46 rushing yards, also a catch for 9 yards. Miles Sanders is running back 4. Miles Sanders, 1 rushing touchdown, 93 rushing yards. Damian Pierce, running back 5, 139, no touchdowns. Travis Etienne, who we've been monitoring today, 39 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, also 2 catches for 17 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, 12 PPR points for Gainwell, 22 yards in a touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson having a decent game today, 12 points in the PPR. He has a receiving touchdown and 41 yards rushing. Michael Carter, Jets keeping this one tough in the Meadowlands versus Buffalo. Carter with 11 fantasy points in the PPR, 37 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown. For Carter, Raheem Mostert has a rushing touchdown and 19 rushing yards. Tyler Algier, running back 11, 7 PPR points on 79 rushing yards. Devin Singletary, 20 running, 20 receiving, 3 receptions on 4 targets. Tom, Singletary was a guy kind of getting overlooked in drafts. I'm glad I got him, to be honest with you, even though I probably wasn't proper pronunciation. I'm glad I got him, but I'm from Harlem, so it's, we can excuse it once, but we got to do a better job than that. But Singletary, a cool option to throw in my flex spot.
Yeah, no, I think that's the kind of guy he is, right? Probably not going to start him every week, but you need those guys on your fantasy team, like the guys that if you need them, they're there, that you can throw in for injuries and things like that. So yeah, no, I think he was going. I know there was a lot of Cook love, right, Ronis, heading into drafts, and I think that made him slip a little bit.
Yeah, and now they brought in Hines. I don't see him with a touch today. He is active, right?
I saw this morning where he was going to be active, but I haven't.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a touch. I think that will hurt Singletary though. And the other thing that hurts Singletary is what you're seeing today. Josh Allen, 2 rushing touchdowns. So
he gets the job done for them. He is kind of their offense. Let's take a pause right here, top of the hour, get ready for the new hour coming up. Obviously, big day today, NFL game day presented by Jock Market. Let's take a break, come back, we'll go through the wide receivers and tight end leaders, and then we'll look at if the playoffs was to start today, because we're coming up on some of the end of these games and things starting to get shaky. Second half of the season is now here. It is the Bettor Zone right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
Today's NFL Game Day Takeover on Bettor Sports Network is sponsored by Jock Market.
By Dave Eisman, co-founder of Jock Market. Dave, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for sponsoring the show on the network and everything, man. We much appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have one of your I don't know what you should call him, not a sycophant really, maybe a disciple, maybe I don't know, John Legueza on once in a while, and he is
he's on it,
like all in caps Jock Market, and like his enthusiasm for it. I mean, look, I remember we had Jock Market sponsor one of the athletic shows a while ago too, so I was familiar with the game. But he is the proselytizer big time of your game.
Yeah, right from the jump. The second we first started talking to him, it was very clear it was a match. He got the game. It was he's a big stock guy too, so the crossover between that and him making picks every day, it's really like a match, perfect match for us.
That's cool. That's what's up. Me and Nando, we've talked to. We've been doing shows for a long time. And I remember back in the day interviewing Nigel and Jason Robbins and all of that stuff. And one of the interesting things when we talked to Nigel was hearing about the story of FanDuel and how it kind of came about at South by Southwest. How did Jock Market come about? Where did the thought process come from? Like, What were you into at the time? What were you looking to do? How did Jock Market become to be the app that's on our phones today?
Yeah, no, great question. So, working with my co-founder Tyler at our previous company, we played a lot of DraftKings and FanDuel on our own, and obviously we liked it. We loved playing, but figured there were other ways out there, other ways to play that would be more interesting. And we've also both been interested in investing for a long time, and it was kind of crazy that the stock market and sports concept hadn't really been. I mean, it'd been people had tried it before, but that it hadn't really worked. And then the daily fantasy spin really showed us an opportunity to make it work, where you can have an intrinsic value for those shares. So you have people coming and buying in shares, but if it's a perpetual market, the shares never pay out. It's kind of hard to figure out what they'll be worth. But in a daily market, you buy those shares, in the afternoon. By that evening, for the most part, they're going to pay out real cash. So you have an intrinsic value. I think this is going to be worth X dollars by the end of the night. So now I have a number I can come and pay for it. So that's really where we saw the opportunity. It's just a matter of making the game work within fantasy sports regulations and making it fun and interesting and give people the opportunity to make money by playing.
They put Fields under center. Motion blasting game. And here is the fake. Fields going to roll. Chased by Phillips. Hits Cole Kmet at the 11. To the 5. To the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown Bears. Cole Kmet runs it in for 18 yards on a throw by Fields. And the Bears are back in front of Miami. Snap is back, looking to throw. Fields jumps up in the pocket. Now he's going to have to keep it himself. He runs, he gets the first down to midfield. Away at the 40. Fields to the 30, to the 20. Can he beat the angle? He does. He finishes in the end zone. Touchdown, 61-yard. A Sunday stroll for Justin Fields. And the Bears do match fire with fire. They pull closer to the Dolphins on the run by Fields. He's over 100 yards rushing now. Touchdown Bears.
Better Zone.
All right, up and at 'em. Third hour of the program. Better Zone right here on Better Sports Network. Corey, Adam, and my man Tom Casale. Looks like the Buffalo Bills might be in a little bit of trouble. New York Jets starting to make a play right now. Jets down in the red zone area. That audio you heard coming back was courtesy of the Buffalo Bills, the courtesy of the Chicago Bears radio network. Justin Fields with a big 61-yard touchdown run. Just had a touchdown in that game. Tua linking up with Jeff Wilson Jr. So right now we're looking at Miami 34, Chicago 25, and that contest right there. And it was just a turnover. Did the Jets turn it over?
Yeah, Zach Wilson sacked, and Buffalo recovers it on a third down play.
So there you go, right there. Just when it looked like the Jets could have had a chance to take the lead as a big dog. You see that as Jets take a chance to take a lead as a big dog. You see where they make a Jet mistake and turn the football over. So there that goes right there. So that's
first of all, I saw Aaron Jones to the locker room, jogging to the locker room. So I don't know how serious it is. But that team is in shambles. But what do you think about the Jets here? Because, my goodness, Robert Saleh's.
I gotta cut in. Mixon another touchdown.
Wow, he's going crazy today.
Oh my goodness, man! Rushing touchdown. I hope I'm not playing him, man. I haven't looked at my team yet, but I really hope I'm not playing him.
Oh, I'm sure I am.
I probably am too, man. That's not going to be fun.
All right, let's get to the wide receiver leaderboards. We're checking on these games on a minute right now. Number one wide receiver on the day, Davante Adams. Davante Adams getting it done. 10 catches, 146. Also 2 touchdowns for Davante Adams. Tyreek Hill is having a day once again. 24 points in the PPR for Tyreek Hill. Hill has 6 catches, 127 receiving yards in this touchdown.
2 out of the shotgun. Hill in motion. Looking. He's wide open, Joe.
He's got him. Down the sideline goes Tyreek Hill. He's now over 1,000 yards. He gets out of bounds.
All right. Okay, so that was the play. That was not the touchdown right there. He's going over 1,000 yards on the season already, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, he's been unbelievable. Like I said, had his prop today. I think you just, play it every week.
Huh. All right, now
Aaron Jones jogging to the locker room.
So, yeah, all right. So now that's Tyreek Hill. Wide receiver 3 is interesting right now because it's Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk has 7 receptions for 66 yards. He also has a touchdown, 19.6 in the PPR. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are driving in this game right now. They have a possible chance to take the lead, and Oakland looked excellent to start the game.
Yeah, we mentioned how the Raiders have blown leads this year, right? So this could be one here. I think at the time you mentioned the money line, it was plus 150, right?
Yeah, so
that was earlier.
So now we got an interesting situation developing there. Just like a touchdown. It looks like Green Bay finally got on the board.
Yeah.
So we'll get an update on that. Wide receiver 4 is Jalen Waddle. Waddle with 5 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. Garrett Wilson right now is wide receiver 5, the young Jet wide receiver, 8 catches for 92 yards. I tell you what, Tom, like Wilson looks like he's a player. I like Garrett Wilson a lot.
Yeah, and the Jets are going to need the other Wilson to play better. The defense is playing well. They got pieces there. I know Breece Hall's injured for the season, but you can't complain that the Jets haven't given that guy every chance to succeed. Now he's got to step it up.
All right, so Alan Lazard is wide receiver 5. What mentioned that already? Well, he just moved into wide receiver 5 because of that touchdown catch. He goes over Garrett Wilson. Curtis Samuel is number 7, 65 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown for Samuel. Justin Jefferson, 5 for 57 in a receiving touch. Been pretty slow since that early touchdown. A.J. Brown, another good night on Thursday. 4 catches for 59 yards, 15 points in the PPR for wide receiver 9. Wide receiver 10, Chris Moore. The other night, 4 for 43 and a touch. Stephon Diggs, 5 catches, 93 yards, has not gotten to the end zone yet. Wide receiver 12 is Darnell Mooney, who we saw 4 catches for 30 yards and a touch for Darnell Mooney. That's where we stand right now. Were you a guy that was in on Mooney coming into the season, Ronis?
Yes, I have him in a few leagues. Looked bad early on. Should be a little bit better going forward. And by the way, Evan Ingram, questionable to return with a back injury. Aaron Jones, questionable to return with an ankle injury. I have Ingram in several leagues, and I'm on an Aaron Jones prop. So fun start.
How the rest of your props looking so far?
Tyreek hit. I have ETN over 103.5 rushing and receiving yards. I have DJ Moore over 60.5 receiving yards. Kenneth Walker over 73.5 rushing yards. That's later. And Gibson over 22.5 receiving yards. So I haven't really checked that one yet. Let's see. I know he wasn't 1 catch for 1 yard. Thank you, Heineke.
Tyler Heineke.
But no McKissick and Gibson's been good lately. They've at least been whatever.
All right. Looks like the
Josh Allen picked off. What is this?
This could be an interesting one right here.
You imagine the Jets win this game?
Very well. yeah, I can actually see that happening now. Oh man, this kid is a player right here. So big time interception by Sauce Gardner. New York Jets get the ball back after that bad turnover. Josh Allen on the sideline going crazy. Let's look at our tight end leaderboard right now. Dallas Goedert, number 1 at tight end position with 8 catches for 100 yards. Cole Kmet had that touchdown earlier. He also has 3 catches for 97 yards. TJ Hawkinson in his new home, 5 targets, 5 catches, 55 yards. Tight end 5, Tommy Tremble. He has a touchdown pass from Baker Mayfield. 42-7 is the score. Mayfield in the game. Sane Zistra, 1 catch, 1 reception, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. So there goes that. Hayden Hurst, tight end 7, 4 catches for 22 yards. Dawson Knox, also 3 for 25. Gerald Everett, not having the game we thought we would have with all the injuries to the Chargers pass catchers, but Everett 3 for 19. Kyle Pitts, tight end 11 with 4 in the PPR, 2 catches, 27 yards. Really, Tom, when you get to the bottom of the tight ends and single-digit scorers, it's the position that hasn't been very plentiful for fantasy this year, and the Jets turn the ball over, it looks like. Or they get it back, Garrett Wilson. Oh, thank you. That would have been terrible. So that's your updated Jock Market leaderboard right now. Don't forget, Jock Market is the place to go. Jock Market offers live daily markets for sports that lets you buy and sell shares of athletes in real time with other users, all for real money. And each share has a guaranteed payout at the end of the night. Download now using promo code BETTOR, BETTOR, to receive 100% deposit and match up to $100. Your first market will also be risk-free, with losses refunded up to $100. Download the Jock Market app using the promo code BETTOR With Jock Market, you bid shares before the game in the IPO phase, and you trade shares live while the game is happening. Good times, money can be made in this stuff right here. We are moving well into the fourth quarter. We're into the fourth quarter, late third quarter, a lot of these games, getting ready to get into the winning time in these games right now. Updated looks at what's going on via the DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now in Atlanta, the Falcons have a 17-14 lead over the Chargers. Atlanta laying 2.5 live. The Chargers coming back at plus 165. A back and forth game as we expected, Tom. Is probably going to come down to the final drive.
Yeah, I thought the Chargers had some opportunities there and they didn't take it. Now Atlanta's got the lead and the ball, so I thought the Chargers offense would play better today. They only have 14 points. I know they have injuries, but I don't know, man. Teams have injuries all the time. Bad defenses are bad defenses.
Jets take the lead.
All right, the Jets
James
have the lead.
Robinson receiving touchdown.
So Jimmy Robb gets into the end zone. We have a potential upset alert in the Meadowlands right now. The New York Jets came into this game as 10.5-point underdogs. The Buffalo Bills obviously a wagon in the AFC East. The New York Jets hanging tough right now. They can get a win. It'll be a major, major upset.
Dude, major. With Zach Wilson at quarterback, with the way he's played. I mean, I know it's a division game, but wow. I mean, there's still time left, though, and I'm sure the Bills will march right down the field. But you got to give the Jets a lot of credit for the way they're playing. I did mention it during the week. I'm like, look, I think their defense could, not shut the Bills down, but kind of slow them down. But I was worried that their offense wouldn't be able to do anything. And they have 17 points, and to hold the Bills to 14, and a lot of it is Josh Allen with two pretty bad picks. The first one was egregious. But, yeah, the fact that and that line moved down, too. Wasn't it 12.5, 13?
Opened up 12.5, got down as low as 10.5 today. So we saw some money steaming on the Jets, which I was like, money coming in on the Jets, that's fine. It's not like they're going to win the game. Now they're looking like you. Yeah, Corey,
and also,
what if we do?
Travis Etienne, another touchdown, 5-yard run.
So Etienne gets in the end zone. So right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars have stormed back and taken the lead. Jacksonville 24, the Raiders 21. Jacksonville laying 2.5 now. You want the Raiders coming back at plus 140.
When does McDaniels get fired?
Hard to trust the Raiders.
When does McDaniels get fired?
Maybe at the end of the season. I think they'll give him one more year not to look crazy, but this could have been a bad hire.
I think it was.
You're willing to write that playbook now, huh, Ronas?
Yeah, man. Dude, after last week where you don't show up.
One of the most embarrassing things that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and then you have a lead here and you're going to blow it?
Yep. That's where we stand in that game. 35-25, Miami Dolphins over Chicago Bears. Dolphins laying it, third quarter laying it at 8.5. You want the Bears to coming back at plus 575. Bengals all over Carolina. You want to lay 35.5 with the Bengals? Go ahead and be my guest.
You don't trust Baker Mayfield to lead them back?
Probably not. If you do, you're getting them at 25-1. So you might want to hop on that. Single digits in Detroit between the Packers and the Lions. 8-6 is the score. Lions laying it with 2.5. Pack coming back at plus 125. Hard to trust Aaron Rodgers to get anything done. And we still see New England with a 16-3 lead over the Indianapolis Colts. And you have the Commanders up 10-7 over the Minnesota Vikings. That game's in the third quarter. Commanders laying 2.5. The Vikings coming back at plus 150. And we just told you about the New York Jets 17, Buffalo Bills 14. Still time left to go. A little under 4 minutes left to go in quarter number 3. The Bills still laying 3.5 in that one. You like the Jets to win, and they have the lead. That is at plus 180 right now. Any takers on the New York Jets and plus 180?
No,
I don't mind it.
Oh, Tom doesn't mind it. There you go, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games that's going to come down to the wire. Right now you're sitting in a good spot, right? You got the lead. It's going to be a close game the rest of the way. So plus 180, I don't think is terrible odds if you want to take a shot with the Jets.
Washington moving the football downfield just outside the red zone for the Commanders. The first 7 weeks of the season, unders hitting at about 60%. We saw offense strike back last week. So far today, the overs had in Miami, Chicago, and Carolina and Cincy have already both cashed. So that's where we stand.
By the way,
the under will probably come in Packers Lions though.
Oh yeah. So Joe Burrow is out of the game, but Joe Mixon is still in.
It's interesting.
I wouldn't do that. They want to get another touchdown or something.
Maybe they're trying to go for a record or something.
Yeah, probably.
But I guess that Devontae Adams would have dropped pass. It would have been a first down. I can see Jacksonville winning this game.
Oh yeah.
To be honest with you, I can see Jacksonville winning that game. That'd be a bad look right there. Got the Lions in the red zone. So they are, as a matter of fact, not only in the red zone, they're in the first and goal situation for the Detroit Lions. All right, let's take a break, come back, look at some NFL playoff odds, get ready for the fourth quarter of these 1 p.m. Eastern time starts. At some point, we'll get into these primetime games, let you know what Jock Market thinks about some of these players. It is the Bettor Zone on a Jock Market NFL Game Day takeover right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Zone. Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Bettor Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry. Okay, talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach, makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting, I'm going to bring up personal.
Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, in the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at, like, Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you know, want to know why they're paranoid? They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with us.
It's one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right?
Yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
it's interpretation, and that's my problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to my team.
Bettor Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
In motion goes Hesse. Now he'll drift back to the left. They'll hand the ball to Patterson, and Cordero rolls in for the Atlanta touchdown. They hand it to Patterson, driving and diving straight ahead for the Atlanta touchdown.
Bettor Zone is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every second of every game.
Both of the Atlanta Falcons touchdowns, courtesy of Cordero Patterson. You just heard that audio right there from the Falcons radio network right now. Fourth quarter started. Atlanta 17, Los Angeles 14. Atlanta laying 1.5 right now. Chargers coming back to win the game at minus 110. Chargers closed as a 2.5 point road favorite. Knew this one right here was going to be close. So maybe, hopefully, me and Tom can get some good luck with this game right here and bring this one in. Got a couple interesting things going on right now, but I got the Detroit Lions in the red zone right now. Matter of fact, Detroit Lions will not be in the red zone because they scored a touchdown. They're getting ready to kick off.
Yeah, James Mitchell.
James Mitchell with the touchdown from Jared Goff. Lions go up over the Packers 14-6. Just under 15 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Lions going to lose. I mean, the Packers going to lose this game.
Probably, man. And it's like, again, this team has done nothing to instill confidence. And I'm interested to see, oh, boy, you know who they play next week?
Who, the Packers or the Lions?
The Packers.
The Cowboys.
Yeah, in Green Bay.
We should be able to get that one.
They better not lose that game, man. After all the trash I've talked on this team.
Bro, do you know how unlucky we are against the Green Bay Packers?
I know. Trust me.
Jared Cook. You know what I'm saying? The list just goes on and on and on and on.
They can't lose that game. Coming off a bye. That
I
defensive
think
line with Rodgers.
Too good.
And Bakhtiari, I don't know if he returned, but he did leave the game. So
I see where DeAndre Carter's on the shot line.
Yeah, but he's coming back in.
Okay,
I
good.
saw
So
that
we
too,
get
yeah.
Carter back in the game.
I mean, but Green Bay, man, it's like, so they got to be underdogs at home against Dallas, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm saying with what we've seen.
100%.
Okay.
Dallas will probably be laying 3.5 or 4.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Fields
So
just
that's how I
adding
look
to
at
his
that.
rushing day. Jeez, man. There's got to be a team out there with like Fields, Mixon, and Adams, bro.
They probably going crazy today.
Because you could definitely have Mixon Adams. You could take one in the first, one in the second, and Fields obviously you could have taken late, picked up off waivers. But man, if you have that combo, let us know because
Imagine having Josh Palmer at 52 yards early in the second quarter
I know,
and
bro.
still not. It's at 55.
You
A half yard.
Hey,
off.
as a matter of fact, if you are playing against a Joe Mixon team, if you're playing against a Devontae Adams team or Justin Fields team, give us a call right now. We want to see how you feel, and we want to check in with you. You can help us. We'll help get you through it. Maybe even pray over your team, like I'm going to have to do for some of mine later on today. Los Angeles Chargers are moving. But, yeah, if you are in one of those awkward or one of those bad fantasy situations where somebody is going off against you, we've been there before. Give us a call. We'll help you with that one right here. Hit that call button on the app.
Oh, wow.
Is that a touchdown?
Yeah, they're calling it a touchdown.
I think he was down.
Let's see.
So basically, Austin Eckler just looks like he was tackled.
Yeah.
He's saying that he was
Isn't he-
not.
His
and that-
feet are down, right?
So
I mean, after right?
Reels over. Does not. Why is this? How is he's up right there?
And
I don't
then
think
lands-
he's down. He's touched.
Right?
He's tackled.
I mean, I know his back or nothing was on the ground, but his feet, and he was in the grasp.
I don't know. That might be a touchdown.
You think? Yeah, I guess it might be. Damn, Fields.
Interesting.
Yeah, because he didn't
right
touch anything.
Is Justin Fields in the end zone again? No, it's first and goal.
No,
So
he
he's
keeps
about to be
running,
in the
though,
end zone
man.
again.
Oh, Deion Jackson's back in the game. Okay, well, probably won't do anything, but that's the culture
Man,
disaster
Justin
today.
Fields is kind of playing with them right now.
Dude, it is. I mean, look, I thought this was going to be. This was the game I was looking forward to most this week. Believe it or not, Dolphins Bears. I thought it was going to be high scoring, and I think Tom mentioned it before. The Bears are an over team right now. They traded two of their best defenders. Wow, again, Cole Kmet. Now you score 2 touchdowns, but I don't have you anymore. Damn it, man.
Too late for Cole Kmet.
I mean, I guess I still have him in a lot of best ball leagues. I mean, they might be dead since he's given zeros every week, but the one league I have him, I did not play him. I played Isaiah Likely instead. Oh, man.
Here's the thing. If the Bears get the lead, they're going to win the game.
I just need them to cover. I know you took the money line.
Yeah, I took him. I money lined him with the
and I
run.
think it was like, so I mentioned this week during my shows, the playbook, weekdays, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern right here, that I liked the Bears getting the points this week. The Dolphins have played awful defense on the road. And as we touched upon, this Bears offense has played a lot better the last couple weeks. So I thought they were going to put up points, but I thought Miami would put up points too. So, but I think Tom's right, though. We got to start looking at the Bears over number with their offense playing well. Now, we know their defense is susceptible. Next week, they got the Lions at home. What do you think that opens up? 47, 48?
Bears and Lions.
Yeah. I mean, I know the Lions didn't do much this week.
That's going to be 49.5.
Okay. And
yeah, the Lions offense has it. 3 of the last 4 games has done nothing.
I know.
That's true too.
You know what I mean? Like it's
right quick. That Chargers play was ruled down. They go for it on 4th and 4. They pick up the first down. They are about a 30-yard line right now. 8 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter.
Okay, yeah, I thought so too. But yeah, he was in the grass. So, but yeah, I mean, you're right. Detroit's offense has really slowed down. We were liking them, and they've been quiet again today.
Yeah.
Wow, Cole Kmet was plus 3,500 to score twice today.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Would you have really
crazy?
Would you have considered? Oh, good news for you, Tom Palmer.
Josh
21-yard reception.
All right, there you go. Josh Palmer gets it done.
Woo! Listen, I don't mind if I lose bets, but when you got 52 in the early second quarter on a 55.5, you don't want to lose that one.
Yep, Palmer with the big reception. The Chargers now inside the
All right,
red
we're
zone.
in business here, Corey. Let's get a touchdown and a stop. And
Buffalo Bills looks like they're getting ready to tie the game up. So it's 17-17. We're into the 4th quarter, tied up at 17. Right now, the Buffalo Bills are the number 1 seed in the AFC. There you go. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills right now, number 1 seed in the AFC. The season was to end today. The number 2 seed would be the Tennessee Titans. Number 3 seed would be
that's amazing.
How about that?
I mean, that's just listen. That's one of those Ronus where I think we're right, but we're wrong.
That's coaching. That's
against the Titans, right? Like we didn't like the Titans coming into the season. I still think we're right, but we're wrong because there's so many bad teams that you get a good coach and he's winning games.
And I said the 2 concerns I had about it was the division is terrible.
Yeah,
and Vrabel's a hell of a coach. Never had a losing season, and it is. You're looking. If you have a good coach right now, just look at Dable, what he's doing with the Giants, even Pete Carroll with the Seahawks, who we were down on, and I know they drafted well. And Vrabel's the perfect example because you look at this team, it is not good. I mean, the only player you can play on fantasy from this team is Derrick Henry. They had a quarterback last week, Malik Willis, who they did not want to throw the ball at all, and they still won. Now, I mean, and you look at all the numbers, man. They're 32nd in the NFL in total offense, 26th in yards per play at 5, 15th in defense. They've allowed 5.7 yards per play on defense. They're getting outgained every game. I mean, if I gave you all those numbers, you'd be like, no way that team's 5-2. And they're somehow doing it again. It is unbelievable.
It's amazing.
It is because it makes no sense.
That game tonight, Tennessee Titans, Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, those 2 teams, number 2 and number 3, respectively, in the AFC playoff standings. It looks like we're getting ready for a 4th and goal. Now, hey, bro, don't even think about it. You got to tie this game up. You do not go for it on 4th down here.
Yeah, 13 too. They're at the 13.
Yeah, I mean the only guy go for that's
they're going for the kick. They
went for 4th and 16 yesterday.
Okay, good. No, this guy's crazy too. This Brandon Staley guy is crazy too.
Man, he just made it.
If he would have missed it, that dude would have never kicked again this season. Pretty raucous crowd down there in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Another stadium where you see a lot of road fans. Number 4 seed right now will be Baltimore Ravens. Number 5, New York Jets. 6, the Dolphins. 7 would be the Chargers. 8 would be the Patriots. The Patriots would be on the outside looking in. Patriots.
I don't want to see the Patriots in the playoffs. They're boring as hell.
The Patriots and the Bengals are on the outside looking in right now, Ronis.
Come on. I know you're like a Patriots guy.
I don't want to see them in the playoffs.
From an NFL viewing perspective. By the way, Kirk Cousins got hurt. Nick Mullins is in.
All right. So
as they are inside the
Justin Jefferson made a big play on that big catch on that play where Cousins got hurt. Mullins has the team inside the red zone right now. Vikings down by 10 to the Commanders.
Cousins coming back in. Cousins coming back in. So I guess it was one play he had to come out and did they put something on his ribs or something? Add protection because he looks like he's got a lot of padding there around the ribs. So Cousins is in, and look, maybe Tom, we're finally right about Minnesota this week because I was with you too. I've been like this. Look, okay, you were talking about playoffs. I was looking at it. I know it's early, but right now the Cowboys would play Atlanta on the road.
Well, here's the thing, Ronis. Here's the thing: the Cowboys are kind of already locked. If things play out the way we think they should, Dallas will eventually travel to the NFC South champion, and that's awesome.
I was gonna say, yeah. And then if the other seeds play out to perform, Dallas would play Minnesota.
They would go to
round.
Minnesota.
Give me that.
We finally got to. I think Dallas could be in the NFC Championship game this year.
Well, things can change, right?
Yeah,
but I mean, Minnesota is well. I don't want to lock him in.
But here's the thing: say a team like who's at the bottom? Let's say right now, if the playoffs started today, Minnesota would host San Francisco. San Francisco would beat Minnesota.
San Francisco would beat them. You're right.
San Francisco would beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would. That's
Everybody
the one team I
agrees
don't
on
want
that.
to play. I don't want to play San Fran. I don't want to play San Fran.
Yeah, now there you go. But then again, you would
But San Fran could still win the division, though.
Yeah, you're right. San Fran could still
win
the
I know we're doing this early, but I was just dreaming of it. I'm like, wait a second. So Dallas against the
yeah, that could be Seattle, too. That could be Seattle, Minnesota. If San Fran wins the division and Seattle hits a wild card, so you go Seattle, Minnesota, now it's a different story. That opens up, I think, better for the Cowboys. I don't want they don't really match up well with San Fran. That's a team that can power run them. Yeah, that's
don't want to play them.
How about them Cowboys?
It's
Cowboys
early, but we can dream. I mean, it's nice to look at these things. We all know it's going to be a drastic change. Please, Terrace Marshall with a touchdown. Did I start him somewhere? I know I picked him up. I might have desperately started.
Baker Mayfield come in and winging it in garbage time, so he's getting it done. Hey, the playoffs was to start today. First round matchup: Baltimore Ravens, New York Jets. Who had that on their bingo card?
Wow. Yeah, that is. And look, and the Ravens, they're really banged up right now too.
They're not that good either. Cincinnati can easily be in that spot too.
But the Ravens could easily be like a one-loss team. Remember how many games they've blown? They've had the lead in almost every game, but they're really hurting at the skills position. And Lamar Jackson has not been playing well, man, from a fantasy perspective either. I mean, he's been kind of down.
I don't really care because college basketball starts tomorrow, but I think the Ravens are a pretty good bet tomorrow.
Me too.
Like sometimes you get too much value the other way, and I know the Saints at home, blah blah blah, but I don't see much value in backing them. I think even if it's close, the Ravens have too much defensively to win that game.
Everybody's pointing to an obvious AFC Championship matchup between the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. Can the Dolphins knock one of those two teams off in the playoffs?
It's possible. I worry defensively that they don't have an answer. I mean, look, and I guess Tua has been really good, but is he going to be able to get it done against a real good defense?
I mean, I feel like, because you see, I'm known as a Tua hater. I'm known as a Justin Fields hater. I just try to hold guys accountable. My thing is this. When the weather, I hate to keep saying, well, wait till the weather changes, wait till this happens, wait till that happens. Bottom line of the matter is they're getting it done with great wide receiver play.
Yeah. The system is perfect. And adding Jeff Wilson was a big addition too, because we know Mostert has a tough time staying healthy, and Wilson does have a receiving touchdown today. So
I'm giving Fields props today, Javon. Thank you very much. I'm giving Fields props for the past 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? They're finally coaching him right.
Javon, there was a lot of Fields haters 3 weeks ago. I heard he was a huge bust. But hey, listen, we still the thing is I love Twitter, right? Because everyone, including me, we like to overreact to stuff, and that's what Twitter is. But whatever I don't know if it's really different from 3 weeks. Either you like Fields or you don't. I know he's running the ball more, but I don't think 3 weeks changes if he's going to be the quarterback of the future, right? It's you either like him or you don't. And I don't know. Corey might have missed that one, but I can tell you right now, he's 100% correct that Babe Ruth never existed. I'm all on board on that one, Corey. I'm all in. First time I heard that, I thought it was the dumbest take ever. Now I'm like trying to create like an exploratory committee to see if that guy really existed.
We got to go back and figure that one out. Javon, listen, they're coaching him correctly now. I was getting on the coaching staff because here's the thing: the truth of the matter was they wasn't letting him throw. They was not letting him. They was trying to play the game without him. That wasn't me trying to do that. That was him. Javon, you're more than welcome to hit that call button and call in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a lot to say to you, man.
That's my boy Javon. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Javon, what's up with your Phillies? Yeah, you want to talk about your Phillies?
Yeah.
He shifted gears on you, Corey. He went from baseball to Fields having a good game. He's like, let's talk about
let's
Fields.
talk 76ers. You know what I'm saying? How about them 76ers? Yeah, nobody, huh? But now that you can hit that call button, you're welcome to call in and join the program. Each and every one of you out there. In the NFC, Philadelphia Eagles, number 1 seed right now. Number 2 seed, the Minnesota Vikings. 3, Seattle. Seattle with that big game today, Tom. Seattle and Arizona. Everybody all week trying to figure out why this game opened up with Arizona as 2-point favorites. Number is probably come down since I've last seen it. It might be pick 'em by now. As a matter of fact, I'll check for you right now. No, it's going back up. So right now you got 1.5s out there, you got 2s out there. So Tom, the way I looked at it, I said, you know how they put out the look ahead lines in August?
Yep.
The look ahead line was Arizona minus 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
So you already moved that 3.5 points off the look ahead. I would think it'd be tough to make it Seattle a favorite. That's the only thing I could come up with. But everybody is on Seattle this afternoon in that game against the Cardinals.
Yeah, and that's an important point you make, and not a lot of bettors do this, but like take a look at what the look-ahead line was and see the adjustment. But we mentioned it. We talked about a game yesterday, Corey, that was pretty big, Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I mentioned power ratings. How we think and how odds makers power rate teams are two vastly different things. Now, odds makers still aren't fully buying into the Seahawks, right? So you, like you said, you've seen adjustment from what they thought earlier in the year, but that's not going to go 7-8 points the other way. You know what I mean? So the line makes sense to me, actually. That's what I would expect the line to be.
What do you think about that game coming up in the 4 o'clock window, Adam? Getting ready to kick off in about 25 minutes from now between the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Actually shaking up to be a pretty big game in the NFC West.
Yeah, I kind of was under the thought all week, it's Seattle, but now I kind of see why it can be Arizona. I don't trust Arizona as a favorite, especially with Kingsbury. But these teams played a few weeks ago was 19-9, but Hopkins didn't play in that game, and Hopkins has been huge.
Man, he's been balling, yo. He came right back like it was nothing.
And he wasn't great.
Wow, was that an interception?
Yeah.
Is he going to crib it? Oh no! Oh, the Commodores. The Vikings get the big turnover.
Listen, the Vikings are like the under the radar Giants, right? Everything's going their way. I'd bet live Minnesota right now. I got a feeling they steal this game.
Yeah, I will definitely.
I mean, 100%. They got the ball now at Washington's 12 after that interception by Harrison Smith, man. Unbelievable. Like, you got to protect the football there. You're up 7, and now you give Minnesota life.
What's going on here with the Packers, Ronas? I'll tell you right now. Listen, I'll tell you this right now. Lions lose this game, got to fire Dan Campbell tomorrow. Can't keep losing games the same way for 2 years. They got to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, they are driving. They got the ball 2nd and 8 at Detroit's 12, and there's still 8 minutes left in this game. So there's definitely time for Green Bay to get back in it. So it's now 3rd and about 3 at the 7.
Right now, if you like the Green Bay Packers, you're getting them at plus 190. So pretty good odds for the Green Bay Packers over on DraftKings plus 190. You like the Minnesota Vikings, you can get good odds on Minnesota as well. You can get them at plus 145 as they move into the red zone. Both games into the 4th quarter. That's a live look in DraftKings odds right now. Don't forget the whole day, the whole network whole day is been sponsored by Jock Market. Definitely go out there and try Jock Market. Download the Jock Market app. Use the promo code Bettor. You can bid on shares of players in the IPO phase, trade shares live while the games are happening. You also have NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, PGA, and NASCAR. Definitely go check out Jock Market. What's going on, Adam?
3rd and 3, incomplete to Sammy Watkins.
And here we go.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same story every damn play. I mean, this is Detroit. Oh, wow. Dalvin Cook receiving touchdown.
All right, there we go. Shit. Now we got some action in they still call it FedEx Field, right? Or did FedEx strip the naming rights?
That
might be coming. That might be coming.
Yeah.
Damn, man. And I got this Gibson prop, and it's looking terrible. He's got 1 catch, 1 yard. I got over 22.5 receiving yards, man.
Oh, that's not
good.
good.
Oh boy. So I'm going to need overtime.
They hate him. They don't want him to
They
touch
did
the
last
ball.
week, though. The last couple of weeks, they started to get him involved more. So I don't get it.
That's a beautiful route by Dalvin Cook, getting that touchdown. Green Bay settles for the field goal. 15-9 is the score now in that game.
Embarrassing.
We're tied up. That could have been pass interference as well. Tied up at 17 in our nation's capital. Also tied up in MetLife Stadium. Josh Allen, 3rd and 14 right now is what we're looking at. Ron's a little bit ahead of us, so he knows what's going to happen. And that's going to be, big. Is that going to be a pass interference? No flag on the play. New York Jets stand pat right there. And now we go quickly to Chicago, where the Bears have a chance. Football 3rd and 2 on their own 20-yard line. Justin Fields has been a beast all day today. Gets a first down in that big spot right there. So this game right here, 6 minutes left to go in quarter number 4. This one, let me tell you something. If Justin Fields goes on a game-winning drive right here, and now all of a sudden I got to answer for this tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Javon be all over you then. You better.
Oh, it's gonna be more than Javon. It's a group of them out there waiting on me.
I know this might sound crazy, but if the Vikings lose today and the Bears win, could the Bears win this division?
Yeah,
I don't know if they still have. I don't know if they have enough talent over
Yeah,
the rest.
I mean-
You know what I mean? Like they're playing. Listen, give the Bears credit, man. They're playing tough. They're in games. That's what you're looking for, right? If you're a Bears fan, to set up for next season. Maybe they go out, they bring in some more pieces, but I don't know if they're there to win the division.
Yeah, I mean trading Quinn and Roquan Smith.
Do you want to see them in the playoffs, though? I also said, do you want to see the Bears in the playoffs? Because listen, this is. In the postseason, this was not going to be a good brand of football.
No,
Fields is fun to watch right now.
He is. That's true.
You still hating on him?
Yeah, I'm still hating on Justin Fields. There you go. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't get Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL. It don't. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't happened yet. But
it's funny you say that, Corey, because I could see Stroud being a bust.
100%.
Go ETN, go baby, go! Got his I should have. So his longest yard prop was 17.5 yards, rushing yards. He just had an 18-yard rush. Is that his longest of the day? Yeah, it actually is.
Man,
but I also have his. Is he there yet? Oh wait, 91 rushing.
Have to.
Oh wait,
Has Vegas scored since the first quarter?
You know, Corey, you said that you think they're going to give McDaniels another year. I don't know, man. This is a disaster.
So yeah, on that play, I just hit my ETN over 103.5 rushing receiving yards, which I gave out Friday on the playbook. So
nice. Oh, Justin Fields getting busy,
dude. He's
like Lamar Jackson.
He's gonna be the leading rusher this week in the NFL. I think, right? I mean, I know Mixon. What is it? Mixon's only slightly over 100, I believe, but Fields feels like he has like 130 now. Let me check. I mean,
look at the
when you went over the leaderboard, he was first. He's 153 rushing yards.
Look at our Jock Market leaderboard, 150.
That's awesome.
No, 166.
166 now,
and a rushing and 3 passing touchdowns. Oh my goodness.
Mixon has 153. He's going crazy too.
But Fields is higher.
Yeah, Fields is higher. Tyreek has 97. Yeah, so there you go.
Oh my goodness, man. Fields is just gonna I don't have him anywhere. I cut him.
Nando bought some Justin Fields PSA 10s.
Well, I'm a smart guy.
What do you think?
I foresee what's gonna happen. You guys just live on all these guys already.
What about all your other predictions over the years, Nando?
No, let's forget about that. Let's just focus on the ones that work.
17-17.
There we go.
We
got it. We're in field goal range here, Corey. I take a push and get the hell out of here. I don't care.
Let's call it even. We out.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's call it even. We out. You know what I'm saying? You get my money back. You get your money back. Everything is good to go.
We need a Palmer or Carter touchdown, man. That's what we need.
That would be sweet right there to get.
But 52 seconds left, and they're gonna probably.
They're going to run
Don't
the ball.
settle for a field goal,
Although,
man.
I don't know, the Chargers settling for field goals traditionally has been dicey. So
Yeah, and they're at the
Yeah, that's true,
25,
too.
man. I mean, it's not a lock. They even
Why not
make
take
the
a
field
shot? Go for it.
And didn't you say, Rodas, that
wouldn't do
that
that.
last one that was pretty short? You said they just made it.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be so sure if I'm the Chargers. I mean, I go for it. Don't just sit there and run it 2 more times and be like, okay, we'll kick field goal. I mean, that usually doesn't work.
Big third down for the Chicago Bears right here. They are down by 3 points. And that's going to be a big fourth down now for the Chicago Bears.
I don't think you could kick field goal here, right? 56-yarder?
No, that's too long of a field
and
goal.
especially with that field and everything? Yeah, I don't think.
You got the punt.
And there was, I haven't seen in the game what the wind is. I know there was some before the game. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah, that's the one where they said the wind was going to settle down.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand right there with that game taking place, going down to the final minutes in Chicago between the Miami Dolphins and Chicago Bears. You mentioned it, Ronas. Knew this was going to be a good one coming into it. 17-17 in Atlanta. So we got that going on. So there you go right there.
And by the way, if you have the Patriots defense today, they just had a pick six return for a touchdown.
I do have them in the league too. That could have been a 15-yard penalty, but that could just be me trying to get a touchdown now. You know what I'm saying? Sometime there you go. Pick six for Sam Ellinger. I do have the Patriots defense in the league, so I feel pretty good about that. New York Jets, are they getting ready to take a possible shot at going ahead in this game against the Buffalo Bills? This would be a major upset. And I'm telling you, Jet fans would, matter of fact, this would be the Jets' 6th win, right?
Yeah. 6-3 if they win this game. They'd actually be a half game behind Buffalo, right? Yeah. Buffalo goes 6-2. They had
with a win over them.
Oh my goodness. And they got, let's see their schedule. At New England, home to the Bears, at Minnesota, at the Bills. Oh, they're gonna get destroyed in Buffalo when they go back.
Oh, you know that one is coming. But you know what? Maybe the Jets say, hey, you was laughing at us coming into the game. Maybe you don't laugh at us when we go up there.
These divisional games, man, that's, I always worry about that with these large spreads. You just saw it with Cleveland,
Buffalo's
Cincinnati.
been very good as a double-digit favorite.
I know that.
Yeah.
And I thought they would cover this game. The part of me, like most of the week, I was like, the Jets might be able to do. And then I'm like, nah, I don't. With Zach Wilson, no.
Yeah.
What the hell happened here?
Oh, is that a fumble?
Yeah, they're going backwards. So yeah, I told you, don't settle for a field goal. Now,
and then he fumbled. Wow, this game is going to go to overtime. Yo, the Chargers, my goodness.
What the hell?
What a disaster.
Was he down any chance?
I can't hear what the referee is saying, but obviously we got some drama.
Yeah, the Chargers.
Right
so no, he's down. Eckler's knee is down.
Okay, good.
It's down. When they're showing the
Corey,
replay.
kick that damn field goal and let's get out.
So what ended up happening here, it looks like it was an Austin Eckler fumble as they were going down to basically get into field goal range. That is a fumble right there. That looks like a fumble.
Think so?
Right
I
there.
thought his knee was down. Let's see. Right there, that knee is
so
down. Yeah,
close.
he's down. I think he's. Well, they called it a fumble on the field, right?
Called the fumble on the field, picked up by Atlanta. Atlanta gets the ball, starts running. Then the Falcons defender fumbles, and the ball is then recovered by Atlanta. Right now, obviously, referees involved. We're going to see if Eckler was down by contact before the fumble or if it was exactly a fumble. So we'll get you up to date on what's going on right there.
We would expect nothing less than a game between the Falcons and Chargers. 2 teams over the last few years who just find a way to lose games.
And Jacksonville leaves the door open. Patterson misses a 42-yard field goal with 3:03 left. So the Raiders take over 1st and 10 at their own 24, down 4.
You can't trust neither one of those teams right there. So New York Jets, we are down. Still about under 3 minutes left to go in that game. In Chicago, Miami with the ball on a 3rd and 11. They could be forced to punt, and then the Bears could have a chance to come back to go on a 2-minute drive to see if they can win or tie the game, sending into overtime. Oh, whoa. It looks like Waddle had a shot at a big play. Now it looks like Miami's going to get ready to punt to let you know what's going on there.
See, that's where Tua is a problem. Like, we see it a lot. Like, people cite his stats and everything, and they are good, but you see a lot of
large after the catch.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Big play Jets. This is unbelievable, man.
So we got a 3rd and 5 for the New York Jets. First down, goal to go. New York Jets.
Denzel Mims with a big catch. Elijah Moore still nowhere to be seen. Does he even have a target today? That's ridiculous with Elijah Moore, man.
Why do they don't like him? Like, what did he like? How did he get out of favor with the Jets?
Well, I mean, he requested the trade, but you didn't trade him and you want him there. Like, can't you fix this? Or I don't get it.
Speaking of fixing situations, what's up with Cam Akers?
He's active. No way I play him.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't see how you can play it. So they have 4 running backs active: Darrell Henderson, Akers, Rivers, and Malcolm Brown. I don't see how you can play any of them. I know it's a bye week. I guess Henderson if you're desperate, but I think I might be playing him in a league. But like, first of all, that run game sucks. Their offensive line sucks, and you're going up against the Bucs, who are not as dominant as they were in preseason. But how can you trust anyone in the Rams running game right now?
Yep, that's a tough one right there. Justin Jefferson gets a first down. It looks like he's inside the 20-yard line. Minnesota Vikings driving, looking to see if they could take the lead versus the Washington Commanders in that game right there. Right now, that score is tied up at 17 apiece. Raheem Blackshear did get a cheap touchdown for the Carolina Panthers. That game, 42-21. Here is Jacksonville. Okay, we already said that. Jacksonville misses the kick, trying to go up 7, give the Raiders a chance right there. And now, obviously, we still got action in some of these games. We got a tie game in Atlanta. We got a 3-point game in Chicago. Out of whack in Cincinnati. Detroit has a 15-9 lead in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go. In Detroit, down in Jacksonville, Jaguars have a 4-point lead. So Jaguars have a 4-point lead. This actually game. Oh wow! The Chargers get right back in the field goal range. Look at that.
Yeah. Up a 22-yard completion to Josh Palmer. So Chargers have it 1st and 10 at Atlanta's 21.
All right, so in Jacksonville, 24-20. And then we got that tie game in D.C. Vikings have the football in pretty good shape. Tie game in New York. Jets have the football in pretty good shape. Coming down to the wire, getting ready to head into our last hour today. Also brought to you by Jock Market, our Jock Market NFL Game Day Takeover. Download the Jock Market app. Live in 36 states and more to come. And you got NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NASCAR, whatever you want to get involved in, they got you covered over there in Jock Market. All right, so that's where we stand right now, fellas. Got some games coming up. What do you think, Tom, today about the matchup between the last 2 champions? America's game of the week, Buccaneers and Rams, looked much better on the schedule when the season started. Coming into this weekend, you're like, okay, it might be a good time for a nap.
Yeah, and that's why I wouldn't schedule 2 games in the late window, because you're trying to predict how teams will be later in the season. But it's a hard game to handicap. It really is. Both teams with offensive line issues, both teams very disappointing, probably be a low-scoring, close game. I'm not touching it myself.
I took the 3 with the Rams, Ronas. The Rams play better on the road than they do at home. I don't like the way Tampa's played at all. That's where I'm sitting with it.
If I'm forced to pick, I would take the Bucs because, I mean, again, the Rams have sucked too. They lost 3 of their last 4 by double digits. So they've had a hard time scoring. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how good Tampa is because they suck too.
Yeah.
But thing with them is they are still in a position to win this division as bad as they have been. And I think they're better offensively. You know, we still got Evans and Godwin. Julio, he's healthy for now.
Tonight, really?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Rams have no run game at all. It's all Cooper Kupp. And Stafford hasn't been great. So I'd lean Tampa, but I don't feel good. And yeah, this is going to be a terrible game to watch. I'd much rather watch Seattle, Arizona.
Yeah. If you could pick one player to back in Jock Market in these games coming up in the 4 p.m. Eastern time window, who would that player be? If you wanted to go push all your chips on the table, all your shares, who would it be? Field goal good at the buzzer, 20-17 victors. Los Angeles.
That push feels like a win.
Los Angeles Chargers push. If you got the Chargers at -2.5,
yeah, if you got it late, that's a win.
You got to win. You got to win. If you got it at the 3, you get a push. And as Tom mentioned, the push that you'll probably feel very good about.
What do you think about the Chargers going forward, though, Ronas? They get their receivers back, they'd be okay, or?
I'm always a fan of them. but they find a way to disappoint. But yeah, I mean, oh boy, you know who they play next?
Tennessee.
Chiefs at 49ers. That's a Sunday night game. That's a good game.
That's going to be a good one.
That's a game. Oh, listen to their schedule. At 49ers, home to the Chiefs. They always play the Chiefs well. They should have beaten the Chiefs that first game.
They should
That
have beat
Thursday
them
night
earlier
game.
this year. Yeah.
At Arizona, at the Raiders, home to the Dolphins, home to the Titans, at the Colts, home to the Rams. Pretty tough schedule. I mean, 49ers and Chiefs the next 2 weeks. They're going to have to win one of those games. They have to. They have to win one of those two games. So I always am high on the Chargers, but they always find a way to let me down. So I believe in the talent. They need to get these guys healthy. I mean, Keenan Allen, I'm worried about him. I mean,
it's not good.
And Williams is what, at least
probably another 2
they didn't
weeks.
place him on IR, did they?
They did not, but he's still going to be out 4 weeks, though. It looks like he'll be out a 4 week absence. Under 49.5 cashes and Chargers and Falcons.
I'm surprised by that. Did you think this would be higher scoring?
I thought it would be a higher scoring game, but I think it was some sloppy play at moments. 3rd and goal, Zach Wilson gets sacked. So it looks like the Jets are probably, I would guess they're going to break out the field goal unit unless they feeling like
you have to.
Brian
you have
Kelly
to.
and want to go for the win.
You have to there. I mean, because I know it's the Bills and they could easily march down the field and score a touchdown, but you got to take the lead there. Your defense has played pretty well.
You can't let the people you coach and you can't let them down like that either. I think a lot of times coaches don't take that into consideration. Like you got these dudes out there playing for you. You can't let them down with bad calls like that. Oh, man. That might have been the Packers. That might have been the Bears' last shot right there.
When I'm hearing this was pass interference on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Bears fans? I don't know. I keep hearing they're screaming at the refs on Twitter. So
all right, Jets have a 20-17 lead right now. So my teaser is going to get blown up anyway because I just thought about it. I had Bills at 4.5. If they win the game, they're not going to.
Is it me or have teasers been terrible this year?
Well, if you're teasing the 7 down to even, hasn't worked this year.
Like all my friends.
Because all the underdogs are losing.
But I mean, you've had the Patriots against the Bears. You've had Tampa against Carolina.
Yeah.
You know
It hasn't been a good season for those people because, like last year, I know my buddies were killing it, and teasers are getting killed this year for the exact reason you're saying. You're thinking, okay, well, the Bucs will win this game or the Packers will win this game, and they're getting beat outright.
Yeah.
So, and that's Corey, you mentioned it here, like teasers, like again, we don't talk about it a lot, but that's huge when it comes to the sports books, winning or losing. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people had Buffalo come down. Probably a lot of people. I would say probably took the Packers today against Detroit.
And here's the other thing where you get crushed is if you do parlays, money line parlays.
Yep.
I'm sure. Now again, the Bills can still win; it's not over. But you take the Bills, right? You're like, well, I'm not going to pay the juice; it's ridiculous.
Right.
I'll take the Bills money line and parlay it with
others. That's when a team like the Bills loses, books when they lose outright, if they lose to the Jets, books clean up on things like that. Money line parlays, they just clean up.
It makes it even. Now, the books actually needed the Bills today, especially the books.
You're right.
They needed the Bills today.
Against the spread.
Yeah, against the spread. But when it comes to those teasers and those other tickets, like, for example, today, the Bengals, everything inside of me said tease the Bengals down. But I was like, it hasn't worked this year. So I stayed off, and the Bengals win by 21.
And that is, you're right, Corey. Today, that was an interesting one with the Bills. Usually a team like that play, but there was a lot of money on the Jets today, so that kind of evens it out. But a lot of times, they take the whole enchilada with something like that.
So Minnesota Vikings take the lead 20-17 over the Commanders. They'll get the ball back with over a minute to go in the game right there. And I guess the Buffalo Bills are starting their drive to see if they can win or get this game tied. That's where we stand right now. I want to take a break. We'll come back, get a loud final look at the leaderboard, wrap up these games, and get you ready for the continuation of the Bettor Zone right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Zone is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every second of every game.
Joined now by Dave Eisman, co-founder of Jock Market. Dave, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
How you doing?
Thank you for sponsoring the show on the network and everything, man. We much appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have one of your I don't know what you should call him, not a sycophant really, maybe a disciple, maybe I don't know, John Legueza on once in a while, and he is like
he's on it,
like all in caps jock market, and like his enthusiasm for it. I mean, look, like I remember we had Jock Market sponsor one of the athletic shows a while ago too, so I was familiar with the game. But he is like, man, the proselytizer big time of your game.
Yeah, right from the jump. The second we first started talking to him, it was very clear it was a match. He got the game. It was like right, you know, he's a big stock guy too, so the crossover between that and him making picks every day, it's you know, really like a match, perfect match for us.
That's cool. That's what's up. You know, me and Nando, we've talked to. I mean, we've been doing shows for a long time. I remember back in the day interviewing Nigel and Jason Robbins and all of that stuff. And one of the interesting things when we talked to Nigel was hearing about the story of FanDuel and how it kind of came about at South by Southwest. How did Jock Market come about? Where did the thought process come from? Like, what were you into at the time? What were you looking to do? How did Jock Market become to be the app that's on our phones today?
Yeah, no, great question. So, working with my co-founder Tyler at our previous company, we played a lot of DraftKings and FanDuel on our own, and obviously we liked it. We loved playing, but figured there were other ways out there, other ways to play that would be more interesting. And we've also both been interested in investing for a long time, and it was kind of crazy that the stock market and sports concept hadn't really been. I mean, it'd been people had tried it before, but that it hadn't really worked. And then the daily fantasy spin really showed us an opportunity to make it work, where you can have an intrinsic value for those shares. So you have people coming and buying in shares, but if it's a perpetual market, the shares never pay out. It's kind of hard to figure out what they'll be worth. But in a daily market, you buy those shares, in the afternoon. By that evening, for the most part, they're going to pay out real cash. So you have an intrinsic value. I think this is going to be worth X dollars by the end of the night. So now I have a number I can come and pay for it. So that's really where we saw the opportunity. It's just a matter of making the game work within fantasy sports regulations and making it fun and interesting and give people the opportunity to make money by playing.
First and goal from the 1-yard line. High snap, he handles it to give to Etienne toward the goal line. Touchdown! A 1-yard touchdown run. The signal was given touchdown. Now the Raiders are saying he's not in there, but the line judge on the far side said touchdown. They snap it quickly, pitches to the right. This is Etienne inside the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown! A touchdown run by Travis Etienne, and Jacksonville has taken the lead.
Today's NFL Game Day Takeover on Bettor Sports Network is sponsored by Jock Market.
All right. Final hour of the program. Bettor Zone. It is a Jock Market NFL Game Day Takeover right here on the Bettor Sports Network. This show sponsored by Jock Market. Jock Market offers live daily markets for sports that let you buy and sell shares of athletes in real time with real users, all for real money. And each share has a guaranteed payout at the end of the night. Download now. Use the promo code BETTOR, that's BETTOR, to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Your first market will also be risk-free, with losses refunded up to $100. Download the Jock Market app. Use the promo code BETTOR. Jock Market currently live in 36 states. So the majority of you have a chance to get involved. Time to get into our Jock Market leaderboard right now on the day. Our top quarterback is Justin Fields. 40 burger for Fields. 42 fantasy points. 123 passing yards. 178 rushing yards. He also accounted for 4 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. Hell of a day for Justin Fields, Adam Rowan. It's QB1.
Yeah, just ridiculous. And,
he's going to get a game ball.
He's running so much now. The passing has gotten better. Still not a lot of yards, but it's what I said previously. He doesn't need to pass for that many yards if he's going to run like this. And the offense has played a lot better over the last few weeks. And, you got Chase Claypool now. Try to get him more assimilated into the offense. Cole Kmet finally doing something here. Mooney, we know, is solid. So, Claypool had 6 targets today, 2 for 13. Not surprising. He didn't really have a big impact. But Bears with Fields, you're feeling good about him if you have him in fantasy right now.
Chicago Bears lose to the Miami Dolphins, but they did cover the spread. So if you were on the Chicago Bears covering the spread, that one is in. The Las Vegas Raiders are going to lose this football game. They just had a turnover, turned the ball over. Jaguars up 27-20. Jaguars can go into a kneel down situation. Terrible, terrible loss, Tom, for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, and I just don't know how they give McDaniels a second year there if this continues the rest of the season. I feel like the players are going to start mentally checking out at some point. It's been a disaster. I'm stunned. Listen, I don't care what you thought about the Raiders coming into the season. The way they finished last year with everything that happened with that team, right? Made the playoffs. Then you bring in McDaniels. Whatever you thought, nobody thought they were going to be this bad. He has been an absolute train wreck. I'm surprised.
No points in the second half against Jacksonville. Like, are you kidding me?
And we've seen them do this before, not scoring the second. Last week, they ain't scoring no halves.
Yeah. So it's an improvement. They're getting better.
Unbelievable. Looks like the Lions are going to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. The Jets won.
Yeah,
Jets won. They had the Buffalo faced a 4th and 21. He tried to go deep down the field to Gabriel Davis. It was incomplete. This is a hell of a win for the Jets, man.
Yeah.
This is extremely impressive. This team is 6-3. I don't care. I mean, all the talk about Zach Wilson, they came out and said he's going to be our guy. He did just enough, nothing impressive. We know their defense is really good, forcing a couple of turnovers here. I mean, this is a huge win for the Jets. They sacked Allen 5 times. Josh Allen did not throw a touchdown pass today. 205 passing yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, sacked 5 times. He did rush for 2, but my goodness. And didn't Stephon Diggs have 5 catches, 93 yards in the first quarter? That's what he finished with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ronish, again, one of the things I wrote about in May, about the Giants and the Jets, was I thought it was a bit unfair for us to really analyze Robert Saleh last year because he had a ton of injuries before the season on defense, and that's his specialty. Then you're adding a rookie quarterback, and you're seeing what Saleh can do now with healthy guys on that defense. They're playing in the NFL.
Really? I mean, there's not much praise you can say for this team. Remember, too, that press conference, I'm going to keep receipts when he's getting criticized. He's looking pretty smart right now. Again, this has been – let me see if you guys agree with me, because we tend to do it. This is the craziest year ever. I've never encountered a season like this from a fantasy perspective where we have so many bad players every week where we get 0s, 1s, and 2s. And trying to predict these games, we talked about it with the teasing, the money line. Like, it's been insane. Like, there's never been parity like this that I can remember in a long time.
I agree. And I said I'm a selective NFL bettor. I've been even more selective this year because I'm looking at these games and I'm like, man, I have no idea who's going to win. Forget about cover. I don't know who's going to win the game.
Yeah, we do have Seattle and Arizona underway in the desert. So that one is started. That's the first of our 2 starts inside the 4 p.m. Eastern hour.
You got anything on that game, Corey?
No, nothing. I stayed away from this one. If anything, I'd like the Cardinals to win this game. So I gave it out when we ran the board this week, so I'll stick by that. But I didn't put any of my own personal bread into it. My own personal money is done for today. I may try to hustle back with the NBA tonight, but right now, that Buffalo Bills loss blew up the teaser. And then the Bears loss blew up that parlay. I take risk as far as Sunday. The contest plays are more important, and so far halfway decent in that today. We talk about I just lost the leaderboard. Hold on one second right here. I hate when this happens. You gotta use 2 computers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes it happens like that. But
we had for the most part, we had a lot of 1-score games today, man.
Yeah, for real. Oh, speaking of 1-score games, Minnesota 20. Washington 17, that game pushes at -3. If you could have bet that game was going to push, that would have been a bet.
I think in my contest, I got Washington +3.5 because it was earlier in the week.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
I liked Washington to keep this game close. Tom mentioned earlier with Minnesota. I mean, I'm sorry. I know they're 7-1, and you got to give a team credit, but I'm just not impressed with this team at all. I'm just not.
Did you say they play the Bills next week?
They're in Buffalo.
Coming off a loss?
Oh, dude.
Back up the Brinks truck, baby.
Okay.
That's going to decide Casale Christmas 2022.
What do you think the line is in that one? 7?
Yeah, or 8. They don't mess around with Buffalo at home.
Yeah.
No,
I think I think they could get smoked.
I think they blow them out.
100%.
We saw it with the best
out.
team Minnesota has faced this year was Philly on Monday night. They weren't even competitive in the game.
They didn't even show up that
and
game.
You couldn't ask for anything more in a game where Buffalo not just lost, they got pushed around. They got bullied.
So say that line opens up tomorrow. The line is probably going to move up, in my opinion. Would you jump on it immediately?
I jump on it the second it comes out
tonight.
I'm going to be refreshing every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That's the one. We've been waiting patiently. We've been sitting here every week saying there's going to be a
load
time
up on the Vikings. Yep.
If they cover next week, I can put my head down on the pillow and sleep at night because
they have 6 consecutive wins, all of them 1 possession game, all of them.
And then last year they lost all those 1 possession games last year.
They did.
So now the coin flips for them this year. They're winning those games. They have 1 loss on the season, and like I said, outside of the Philadelphia Eagles, they're in a good spot to be either a 1 or 2 seed in the NFC, but they are fool's gold, the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, they're going to win the division. I mean, Green Bay losing today really just makes it – I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to say wraps it up, but, I mean, you got the Packers.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, though. That's probably over.
And Minnesota already beat Green Bay.
Yeah, they beat them in week 1. Back to the leaderboard. QB.
That's not fair, man. That division, and then you got Dallas playing, and we're stuck with the Eagles 8-0, Giants at 6-2. It's not fair.
Well, for the last couple of years, NFC East been terrible, and Dallas couldn't do couldn't do nothing.
Dallas hasn't lost a game in the division in like 7 years.
That is true.
So how about this? So teams. The NFC North, 3 teams have a negative point differential. The NFC South, every team has a negative point differential.
We're going to have to travel to one of those 2 divisions in the first round. I'm all for it. I might go to the game.
NFC, because if it's Atlanta.
If it's Atlanta, I'll definitely be there.
Well, if you guys had to put money down right now on the NFC South winner, who would it be? Atlanta or Tampa?
Atlanta.
You would? Atlanta for real?
Yeah, Cordero Patterson makes him a different team.
Is there a shot the Saints can win this division?
They got to get rolling. The offensive, they got to win tonight. They got to win tomorrow night. They got to beat Buffalo tomorrow night. I mean Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah. I agree with you, Corey. They got to get moving there. Ronas, just so you know, the look ahead early line on that Bills Vikings game was 9.5.
Yeah, I think it'll be. Don't you think it'll be a little lower?
A little lower, yeah. So 7 or 8 points. But that's going to be. That's the one.
I mean, again, I always get worried about divisional games, man. These teams know each other very well. So am I surprised the Jets won? Yes. But you kind of figured this wasn't going to be an easy game. Like I mentioned it during the week. I'm like, I could see the Jets defense. And it's exactly what I envisioned. They didn't shut the Bills offense down, but they slowed them down enough. Allen threw 2 picks. The Jets were not going to win a shootout. This is the type of game the Jets had to win.
And they made the big plays. The 2 big rookies also made big plays today with Wilson and Gardner. So listen, tip of your hat to the New York Jets. They came in here, they got it done. The New York Jets are a player in the NFL this year. Let's get back to the leaderboard.
Go, Kyler, go. That's it.
Josh Allen, quarterback 26 fantasy points for Allen, 205 passing, 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. Tua, 24 fantasy points, 303 yards, 3 touchdown passes for Tua. Continues to get it done. We mentioned Jalen Hurts, 20, 243 and 2. Joe Burrow didn't have to go crazy today. Joe Mixon did that. Burrow, 206 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. He's QB 5. 6, Derek Carr, 18 fantasy points, 2 passing touchdowns, 264, but another bad loss for the Las Vegas Raiders. Kirk Cousins in a revenge game, 265 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but that was all she wrote. Minnesota able to get the 3-point victory over Washington. Trevor Lawrence gets a comeback victory to go with his 16 fantasy points, 235 and a touchdown for Trevor Lawrence. Aaron Rodgers, another tough day for Rodgers as the Detroit Lions upset the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, 291 passing and a passing touchdown, but he threw 3 interceptions today. 16 points in the PPR.
Please don't use him in fantasy, please, guys. If you haven't learned your lesson by now, please don't.
Here you go. You heard it from Adam Ronis, who claims to be the illest fantasy player on the face of the earth. I'm 500 against you.
No, you're
so
not.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop with the lies.
Don't
again, you're bragging about being 500 against someone. Says a lot about both of us. The high prestige you hold me in and the low expectations you have for yourself.
Heineke 149, 2 passing touchdowns and an interception. Good right now for QB 10. Baker Mayfield comes in the game, 14 fantasy points, 2 passing touchdowns, 155. If you started Baker Mayfield,
yeah. God bless you.
Yeah, you made a mistake.
You haven't set your lineup since week 1.
Yeah,
that's
Davis
what happened.
Mills,
2 passing touchdowns for David Mills, 154 yards also for David Mills. Right quick, a couple of notes on some over and unders before we get to our running back leaderboard. The under cashes in New England and in New England, Indianapolis. The under also cashes in Las Vegas and Jacksonville. The under cashes in Buffalo and the Jets and Green Bay versus Detroit. So we had 6 unders cash in our 8 games. So offense is back, but the unders still cash. Offense has been better the past 2 weeks, but we still saw some unders cash this week in these early games. So that's where we stand. We go back to the running back leaderboard presented by Jock Market. The big play of the day, 55 points in the PPR was Joe Mixon. Mixon good for 4 rushing, 1 receiving touchdowns, 153 rushing yards also for Joe Mixon. A phenomenal game in the Bengals 42-21 victory over the Carolina Panthers. Bengals were laying 7. Clear that number easy. Travis Etienne, people, got to be feeling pretty good right now. Etienne, 26 points in the PPR, 109 rushing yards, only had 17 receiving yards, but he does hit pay dirt twice. Etienne with 2 touchdowns, looking like a true RB1. Speaking of RB1s, Austin Eckler, 24 points in the PPR. Eckler, a rushing and a receiving touchdown. Only 24 yards receiving, only 47 yards rushing, but he does hit the end zone twice. Atlanta Falcons take a loss today. Cordero Patterson returned. Patterson, 18 PPR points. Patterson, 44 rushing yards. And here's one of his 2 touchdowns on the day. Cordero Patterson. All right. I don't think we're ready with that one right there. Jeff Wilson now running back number 5 on the day. Jeff Wilson, 16 points in the PPR for Jeff Wilson Jr., 51 rushing yards, 21 receiving yards, also a touchdown. What do you think about the trade, Ronis?
The Wilson?
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was really good because, Raheem Mostert has looked very good this year, but he has a real problem staying healthy.
Yeah.
Wilson's very familiar with this system. So I'm not surprised he was kind of involved pretty early here. And Chase Edmonds just wasn't getting it done for them, which is, I don't know. They went out and they paid him and then it didn't work.
It's
I just
a
didn't
weird
get
situation.
I didn't get it. You want to guess who scored for the Cardinals? Take one guess.
DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah. So
he's
early touchdown. Oh, man. Hopkins wasn't good last year either. I don't know if you guys look back on it. He had no 100-yard games, and I was like, what's going on here? Boy, if you did draft,
he's well rested. He didn't
I
take
guess.
the wear and tear. I guess as you get older, maybe that helps a little bit.
I mean, he was wide open on that one, but no, I like the trade for Wilson. I did. It was a really good. And maybe the substance he was using wasn't working, and now it is.
D-Hop getting it done. He's a difference maker.
This offense.
He
I mean,
is.
because we mentioned before, that's why. So one of you said it all week. It was Seattle. Why are they underdogs?
Yeah.
And then I was feeling that way, and then I was like, you know what? It's different. Second matchup, division teams, and Hopkins wasn't there, so. I just hate taking Arizona as a favorite, and I don't trust Kingsbury and this team.
They don't play well at home either.
They don't, yeah. But in the end, I wound up taking them in my weekly pool. But man, I'm going through some of these box scores, bro. It is a disgusting week. I know we had Mixon and Tyreek Hill and Justin Fields. A lot of duds this week. Just a lot of down performances in these early games. So you might see some really low scores this week. I haven't checked my fantasy teams once yet because I'm afraid to look at some of them, but it seems like a really low scoring week.
I guess I haven't had a chance to check the fantasy. I don't know about
outside of
scores.
the Mixon obviously was big, and Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill and Fields. But I mean, you mentioned the unders. I mean, 15-9 Lions Packers. There wasn't much in that game.
Oh, Khalif Raymond love.
Yeah, I played him. Yeah, 3 for 17.
Bad,
even Vikings Commanders, bro. Like Dalvin Cook had 47 rushing yards. It was Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson at 9 for 70. On the Washington side, you got nothing. I mean, McLaurin was 5 for 56. Damn, I almost played his receiving prop. That would have been it would not have cashed. So good thing I stayed away.
I'm glad you did.
But yeah, I mean, I got screwed by Aaron Jones getting hurt and not getting him the football, so I lost that prop. But I mean, because the Bills too, like the Bills, the team we count on every single week. Josh Allen had no passing touchdowns. Yes, he had 2 rushing. Singletary did nothing. Gabe Davis 2 for 33. Diggs,
those are 2 dudes in my lineup. Singletary and Davis are both in lineups of mine.
Yeah, and Diggs had 5 for 93, but a lot of that was all early. But yeah, that just a lot of down. And the Colts, man, if you had to use anyone, you absolutely got crapped on, man.
Yeah, good luck. All right, back to the running back leaderboard. Ramondre Stevenson, 16 points in the PPR. Stevenson on the day, 60 rushing yards, 10 receiving yards, quarter touchdown pass. Michael Carter for the New York Jets, 76 rushing yards. Carter also a rushing touchdown in that big New York Jet victory. We know what Miles Sanders did, 15 in the PPR. Raheem Blackshear also come up with 15 in the PPR. Blackshear, 40 receiving yards, 13 rushing yards, also a rushing touchdown. Damian Pierce, 139 rushing yards, is good for running back 10, 13 in the PPR. Dalvin Cook, Ronas just mentioned, 13 in the PPR. Cook only 47 rushing yards, 9 receiving yards, does get that 1 receiving touchdown. Jimmy Robinson, 5 catches, 2 catches for 5 yards, but he had 48 rushing yards, 13 points in the PPR for Jimmy Robinson. So now let's get into the wide receiver leaderboard. Devontae Adams had a hell of a first half, 10 receptions for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then vamoose, they disappear like they do almost every week. Tyreek Hill, 27 points in the PPR. Another excellent game for Tyreek Hill. 7 catches for Hill, 143 yards and a touchdown and a flip. Tyreek Hill, the Miami Dolphins get the victory. Hill looking like he could possibly be the AP offensive player of the year this year. If your book allows you to bet on that, you might want to start hitting that now before that information gets out there. But Hill could be in place for a record-breaking season. And, Ronald, we've seen record-breaking seasons from wide receivers in the past couple years. Cooper Kupp last year, Michael Thomas, Jamar Chase, and Antonio Brown, all in the last 5 years have had historic seasons.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill is definitely headed there. Again, the one thing is just the lack of touchdowns, which is a little surprising. But he did have 1 today. He's got 3 on the year. I mean, unbelievable. Like I said, I mean, I think it just he even hit the receiving prop too. It was 6.5 receptions, but it was juiced. So it was minus 140, minus 150. But I was on the yards. I got it at 86.5. I think it might have gotten up to 88, 89. But how do you not take this guy like every week at this point?
They got to put it up to like 103 or something like that because he's destroying it.
He has 5 games this year of at least 143 receiving yards.
That's 5 games with over 180 yards receiving.
Right. And wait, who did we say they play next week again? I know we went over it. I forgot. I'll look real quick. They got the Browns. I'm playing it. They're home. I'm playing the over.
Against the Browns,
I'm playing the over. Like, I mean, the Browns have not been good defensively. I know they had a good performance against the Bengals, but again, that's one of those divisional games that I kind of chalk it up to. Browns have been disappointing defensively. I thought they'd be better with the personnel they have. I'm taking the over next week too. I mean, you think it opens at 90.5?
They got to get it. It's got to move up some. On like Tom says, juice it to minus 250. You know what I'm saying? See if you want it now.
Yeah, right. I would think it's in the low. It's got to be in the low 90s.
And even Waddle in that case too. His is lower. I mean, I might just take both of them every week at this point.
Yeah, and the one thing about the Browns, like I know people. They're interesting. I mean, they have talent, right? But and Watson's coming back at some point. We don't really know. And I saw some people say, "Hey, maybe take a shot, win the division,
it's the game
whatever."
You know, his first game back is against the Texans, right?
Why?
You think the NFL didn't script that?
Of course they did. That's cool.
Well,
is the game going to be on? Is it in prime time? You know what I'm saying?
It's week 13. It's a 1:00 game. Yeah, don't worry. They're not flexing that to Sunday night.
What's going to be the response when he steps on the field in Houston?
In Houston,
it's interesting, right?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Do you have an answer? I really don't know.
I don't know either. I would not be surprised if they cheered him.
Yeah, I think they're going to boo him. That's what fans usually do.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson got booed.
But Russell Wilson wanted to leave.
I know.
I think
he still won them a Super Bowl.
There's a feeling that Watson was pushed out.
Yeah.
Right? There's that feeling out there, despite everything that happened. So interesting. We'll be here in week 13, so we'll break that one down. I spoke. Yeah, I hope so. we spoke recently about the great wide receiver years in the past couple years. I forgot to mention Justin Jefferson, but he's definitely getting it done right now today on the leaderboard, sponsored by Jock Market. He's wide receiver 3, 25 points in the PPR, 10 rushing yards, but he did have 7 catches, 115 yards, and this touchdown, and the Vikings win over the Commanders.
Hawkinson wears number 87. He goes in motion to the right. Kirk back to pass, out of the shotgun, to the end zone, and it is caught. Is it inbound? Yes! Touchdown, Vikings! He's JJ!
JJ getting it done for the Minnesota Vikings. Get that big win in Washington. Wide receiver 4, Christian Kirk. 8 catches, 76 yards, good for 21 in the PPR. Jalen Waddle, 5 catches, 85 yards, and a receiving touchdown, good for 19 in the PPR. Allen Lazard, 4 catches, 87 yards, 1 receiving touchdown, 18 PPR points for Allen Lazard. Joshua Palmer of the Chargers got a victory, also had 8 catches for 106. Time I put Palmer in a lineup right before we got on air. I was like, should I do it? Should I didn't? I'm glad I did because he got it done. No touchdowns, but he did secure 18 PPR points for me.
Yeah, I mean, that was a weird game because he had 52 yards early in the second quarter. Then he had nothing, and there was like 7 minutes left in the game. They had 55. I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to lose this. Then he went crazy in the last few minutes. So, hey, Rona says it all the time. All the fantasy guys say it. A lot of time it's just about opportunity, right? You're playing a bad pass. I mean, Palmer's a wide receiver 3. Don't you agree, Ronas, in real NFL? But he had to start, and you're playing a bad defense. It's not like you're playing Sauce Gardner and the Jets. So the opportunities were there, and he had a nice game today.
Yeah, you had to play him. I ranked him right around wide receiver 20. It was a great matchup against Atlanta, and he steps in. Even though he's kind of been a disappointment this year because Keenan Allen has missed time. Yeah. He hasn't been able to take advantage of it, but you pretty much had to play him.
He was real popular late in draft season as a sleeper wide receiver, and it hasn't really paid out, but he did a good one for you today. He got you covered today.
Yeah, and even DeAndre Carter in a PPR 5 for 52. By the way, I know we don't really talk about defense much, but Sam Ehlinger was sacked 9 times today.
Oh, my God.
I mean, the Patriots defense probably outscored a lot of offensive players. They had the pick 6 too. So I haven't looked, but I had the Patriots defense a few weeks ago, but I dropped them. But kind of wish I had them.
Yeah, that's a disaster over there because Ehlinger, and anyone who's watched a ton of, he's not an NFL quarterback. He's not.
So do you think they're semi-tanking in a way by making that move?
I think so. I don't know. Like, what do the veterans think right now?
Well, Matt Ryan wasn't playing
well. I understand. I understand.
But is this any better?
No, that's what I'm saying. So,
and I know Ryan was banged up
maybe Ehlinger is a little bit more mobile.
Where
he just not
worked today, there. 9 sacks.
Ryan probably would. In Corey's defense, Ryan probably gets sacked 15 times. So.
And it is New England, but I mean, look, it just sucks because I, was very high on Michael Pittman, and now it's brutal having him on a team. Well, you know what? The good news is they are at Vegas next week.
There you go.
There
Boy.
you go.
You're talking about two disastrous teams.
The battle of two
that's
corpses.
terrible
Yeah.
right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the boo.
Any
birds
chance
right
that's
there.
a 4:00 game?
It is.
Is that game in
Good.
Vegas? Like,
So we don't have to talk about it much.
It's in Vegas. Yeah, we can kind of bury it.
The Colts fan base not going to make the trip out to Vegas.
Yeah, I doubt that. You know what's a 4:00 game next week, baby?
Dallas and Green
Cowboys,
Bay.
Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a Germany game next week. 9:30.
Oh, really?
Seattle and Tampa.
Oh, that'd be going off though. So yeah, that'd be going off when we get on.
There's 3 4:00 games next week: Packers, Cowboys, Colts, Raiders, Cardinals, Rams.
Let's get to the wide receiver leaderboard so I can plug my computer in, and also to get real awkward with just the two of y'all sitting there like, what happened to Corey? Gary Wilson, WR 8, 17 points in the PPR. Wilson 92 receiving yards, 8 catches. Darnell Mooney 17 in the PPR as well, 43 on 7 catches and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel 17 points in the PPR. For Samuel to be a wide receiver 10, he has a receiving touchdown, 65 yards. We mentioned A.J. Brown, wide receiver 11, touchdown, 59 yards. Chris Moore, wide receiver 12 on the day, 4 catches, 43 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Stephon Diggs, right outside the top 12. Diggs today, 5 catches for 93 yards, no touchdown for Diggs. Our top tight end is Dallas Goedert with 24 points in the PPR, 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. Cole Kmet finally getting it done. Cole Kmet, 22 in the PPR. Somebody is shocked. 2 receiving touchdowns, 41 yards. TJ Hawkinson, his first game as a Viking in a Viking victory over Washington. Hawkinson gets right in the mix. 16 PPR points, 9 catches for 70 yards. Gotta like Hawkinson moving forward. Tight end 5, Hunter Henry, 9 points in the PPR, 4 for 50. James Mitchell, tight end 6, 2 catches, 8 yards. One of those catches was a touchdown. Gerald Everett, not a big game considering everybody being out, but Everett did finish as a top tight end. Only 8 in the PPR, 5 catches for 36 yards. Hayden Hurst, 8.5 PPR points, 5 for 36. Tommy Tremble, tight end 10, 2 receptions, 11 yards. He also had a fumble and a touchdown. Same Zystra, if I got that wrong. 1 catch, 1 yard. It was a touchdown. Gives him 7 points in the PPR. Tight end 11. Bobby Tunyon, 3 catches, 29 yards. Makes him good for tight end number 12. That is your Jock Market leaderboard. Get ready to take our last break of the day, and I can congratulate my sister. I look at this app. She just completed her 3rd New York City Marathon. So shout out to her. Let's take a break now. When we come back on the other side, wrap up the day, and get ready to hand you off into part 2 of the Bettor Zone, which is also sponsored by Jock Market. They'll take you up to 8 p.m. Eastern time. When we come up, we finish strong on the other side right here on the Bettor Zone.
Bettor Zone. Hang out in the Bettor Zone, where you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that when I look at the lines, I say, okay, if it's a Detroit game, I'm probably going to bet the over. I'm going to look for ways for it to go to the under, but I'm probably going to bet the over. There's certain things that I look at, and I don't know if that's a smart way to do it because you're using something that happened as biased, but to this point, it seems to be working out.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own strategy, right? On how they bet. I always tell people all the time, hey, whatever works for you, do it. It's kind of like in the old days, I used to be a personal trainer, and people would come in thinking there was only one way to work out, right? And I like, no, you got to find what works for you and your lifestyle. Plenty of ways to lose weight, and there's not one style. And I think betting's just like that. It took me years to figure out the right style for me. So, I had some tough runs as a youngster growing up, but you figure the stuff out. I don't really care what the public and the sharps are betting. I just don't. Like, I understand it's an interesting little nugget that people put out there, but I don't think it impacts the game. So that's something I don't really look at much.
Middling is something we can try to do. You bet a team pregame -4, you live bet the other team +10. You can win both. Can you talk about that? Middling.
Listen, middling is that's why it's always hard to say like what the sharps are on. Sometimes the sharps are on 3 different plays in the same game. This is how they bet. They're looking for the best number. Then live, they'll come in again on the other team. They're looking to hit this both ways. So that's a more advanced betting strategy that I don't think most people would do. But yeah, I mean, it's always a good idea. And again, when there's more games like in college, it's a little easier to do because you can find some good situations there. I try to do it once in a while. I probably don't do it as much as I should. Yeah, it's a great strategy.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone for a better NFL game day experience. Sundays at 1 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network.
Cross-play Mixon on first and goal, and Mixon into the end zone for the touchdown. What a statement by Cincinnati on the opening drive as they march it in for 6.
Burrow takes the snap, gives it to Mixon.
Go.
Joe is into the end zone. Touchdown, Bengals. Joe Mixon having a half. That's his second touchdown of the afternoon.
Boyd in motion. The give to Mixon. Flag is down. Mixon motoring for his third rushing touchdown.
Shotgun snap back to Joe from the pocket, scrambling to the right, looking into the end zone. Burrow throws. Caught! Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon tying the Bengals franchise record for touchdowns in a game, and he does it before halftime.
Unbelievable.
Burrow takes the snap, gives to Mixon, bouncing it wide to the left. Penalty flag down. He's at the 10, 5 into the end zone for what could be his 5th touchdown.
Let's see if the formation was legal. Did everybody line up on the line of scrimmage well enough?
Offside.
Defense. Yeah. How about that? How about that?
Bettor Zone is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every second of every game.
All right, that was all 5 of Joe Mixon's touchdowns on the day, audio courtesy of the Bengals Radio Network and Fox Sports. Joe Mixon with 55 points in the PPR. If I'm not mistaken, that's the biggest fantasy day of the season so far, right? Like, I know Tyreek Hill has had some games, but I don't think nobody's put up over 50 fantasy points this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that has not happened. That's got to be a high number for this year for sure. Yeah. I'm almost certain.
It hasn't happened in a while, really. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Joe Mixon, Cincinnati Bengals. They get it done. Bengals versus their NFC South opponents this year. It's probably a good bet to hop on top of that one. Buccaneers and Rams underway. Tampa moving the ball into the red zone right now. 3rd and 2 for Tampa. They can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. In Tampa Bay and Los Angeles, the battle of the last 2 champions, America's game of the week. But these 2 teams have not been game of the week material so far this year, and the Rams stopped them, and it looks like we could be seeing a possible field goal right here from Tampa. Tonight, matchup tonight, football night in America, Kansas City Chiefs, Tennessee Titans. This was the AFC Championship game a number of years ago. Today, it is a game that has 13. Wow, the number went up. Tennessee now a 13.5-point underdog. I guess with that number going up, Ronis, that would make you think that Malik Willis is getting the start tonight and not Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I kind of lean that way. I think little gamesmanship here, and they don't want to announce it. I don't know about you, Corey, but I think I got to lay the point to Kansas City here, man. We know Andy Reid coming off a bye. 27-6 straight up, 21-12 against the spread, 16-8 against the spread on the regular season coming off a bye. And, you know, we've seen the Chiefs offense pick it up recently, and I just don't see the Titans like, okay, are they going to shut down Kansas City? Because I don't see it. I think they're a product of the schedule. They've been outgained in most of their starts, and Willis is a guy that didn't even want to throw the ball last week. They won 17-10. If he's in there, like, how's that going to go with these receivers? Like, the only way I see them covering is if they force multiple turnovers, get a kickoff return. I just don't see the Titans staying in this game tonight. The one team that they played that was way better than Buffalo, week 2, they got destroyed 41-7 on a Monday night primetime game. I don't see how the Titans cover this number. But then again, Jets won today, so what the hell?
I'm a primetime underdog guy, right? A primetime or nothing. I mean, underdog or nothing in primetime. Ronis makes an excellent point. The Bills blew them out, blew Tennessee out in primetime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
and I saw a lot of
very-
people on Tennessee that game, and I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I
it
can't.
could very well happen again today, but I'm gonna take the 13.5 with Tennessee. I don't know.
Even with Willis starting?
I don't. But what is Willis? Is Willis bad?
I mean, the team, they clearly didn't believe in him last week. They
threw
10
like 2 passes last week. Yeah, the what you need, Corey, if you bet this game, is you need Notre Dame Clemson.
Yeah.
You need things to go your way. You need them to run the ball and have 3rd and 2 and get 7 yards. That was what Notre Dame did all night. Notre Dame only threw a few, meaningful passes all game, but everything went their way.
Mahomes, though.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's what you would. That's the blue because you ain't just going to line up with Malik Willis, play a game and beat the Chiefs or even stay close. You would need a bunch of weird things to go your way.
But isn't the thing that we like about Tennessee the fact that they play situational football?
Yeah.
They're
a
good
great
on the
underdog.
Yeah, they're great underdog. They're good in the red. And when they get in the red zone, they score. When you get in the red zone, you kick. 3rd and 2, they get it. 3rd and 2, they stop you.
But I think Ronas is making the key point
Mahomes,
here.
Yeah.
Is that last week they played the worst team in football. Now I know they didn't have to throw a pass because they ran for 500 yards, but you would think a game like that, especially, they would let Willis do something because you're running so well. You can bootleg. 10 passes. They obviously didn't trust him in that game, and now you gotta score at least probably 20 points, right? I don't know. I think this is one you stay away, or I don't know, maybe bet player props.
Look, the numbers are just so glaring. I mean, I know they're 5-2, but again, the Titans are 32nd in the NFL in total offense. They're 26th in yards per play with 5. Defensively, they've allowed 5.7 yards per play, 20th in the NFL. They're getting outgained by 58 yards a game. I mean, again, Vrabel has done a hell of a job. You got to give him so much credit because they have nothing. I mean, look at this offense. Robert Woods is your number 1 receiver. I mean, at least Treylon Burks, I thought had some potential, but he's hurt. Oh boy, what a bad drop. Was that Allen Robinson? Probably.
I'm not even looking at the TV, but when you said that, I was like, that's probably a Ram.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I cannot back the Titans here. There's no way. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Rona. So what do you think about this question that Nick Durst, or what he's put in the chat here? Rams lose today and they're done. So
I think they're already done.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. Like, sometimes you see, like, these projected good teams start off slowly, but they don't look awful, right? Some things go against them. My problem with some of these teams is they look even worse than their record. So I don't know if I can get on board with a second half comeback with some of these teams.
The people that were against the Rams last year, they all said the Rams have no depth outside their starting lineup. Now, they stayed healthy and won a championship. Now, you're seeing what the people were talking about last year.
And their offensive line is completely different than last year.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. They have no running game either, and I don't see it. I mean, mathematically in the division, they're right there, but I think San Francisco's way better than them. I mean, San Francisco's record is kind of misleading, and then adding McCaffrey, they've had some injuries on the defensive side. But I think San Francisco's really good. I think Seattle's better than the Rams, and I can't believe we're saying it. But
I can't either. I can't either. It's amazing. But listen, it doesn't matter what level of football, youth, high school, college, or pro. If you can't block, you can't win. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is, who your running back is, and we're seeing it right now on the TV. They can't block. So I don't see how
that was a false start right there, though. I mean, that should have been unabated to the quarterback. That should have been unabated to the quarterback. You can't let Matthew Stafford get hit like that. Like, blow the whistle and stop that play.
I don't know if he makes it through the season either.
No, we got a Geno Smith to DK Metcalf touchdown.
There we go, Geno, baby.
Was both feet down?
Let's see. One. Yes, both
they were down. All right, so there you go, right there.
Great football.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. He's not going to win MVP, but if the Seattle wins the division, he should at least get some consideration, man, because this was projected to be an awful, awful football team.
Well, could he win comeback player of the
year?
You know, So I think this is one of the dumbest awards, Corey. I mean, more than
I
the NBA,
agree.
I don't get how they
they change it all the time. It's whoever they want to give it
right,
to.
like like for the NBA, most improved. Like you remember Jeremy Grant? It's like okay, the dude went from being on the bench to a starter. Of course, his numbers improved drastically. And it's a judgment call. So I haven't even checked. Is
Jeremy Grant in the NBA most improved player? The hack to that is to see who makes their first All-Star team. That player will likely win. Because remember, Luka made the All-Star team. John made the All-Star team.
Randall
made the All-Star team. Yeah, he won.
But
He made the All-Star team.
He was always a good player. How is he most improved?
He made the All-Star team. It's just that simple. It's real. It's people. It's not. They're not the people who vote on it are not as deep into the sport as me and you are.
Right. And
you know
that's the one thing with the awards market. I tell people it's not what we think in the stats. It's like there's a narrative to a lot of this stuff. So I haven't checked though. Like I haven't even looked at the most. Do you know it offhand? Like
I think it's Anthony Edwards. Oh, you talking about in NFL? I don't know.
Come back. I mean, Gino's got to be up there, right?
Yeah, I know Brian Robinson was up there for.
Get out of here with that. He should.
But you know why, Ronis? It's the narrative. Like
I don't care. The guy's not good. I mean, it's a great human interest story, and I'm glad he's fine.
I'm seeing if I can find it anywhere, but
and unfortunately, you know, the kid
they probably freeze it right now.
Who pulled the trigger in the drive-by? 15 years old.
Oh, dude,
horrible. Come on,
so no. I'm happy for the guy, and I'm glad he's fine. But from an NFL perspective, he hasn't been good.
No, not at all. Wait,
Corey, you said the people who vote don't watch it as closely as you guys. What are you on the college football playoff committee? Too?
Yes, I
am. Trust me, I'm sure I've been in press boxes, and it's amazing. Like for baseball, like they have no idea of the outside teams out of town.
Yeah,
agreed.
They know the division
cover
teams.
the NFL,
right? The division teams because see them a lot, but
Yeah.
like another team, another division, I didn't know this guy was doing that well. I'm like, and I know we're fantasy guys, so we're into it, but that's what I say. In the betting, we know so much more because we follow all these teams closely. You got people voting for stuff that
don't know.
They just look at stuff and like they never seen the guy play. Oh, his stats are good. Okay, yeah, I'll vote for him. So
I heard a conversation once in the press box about Heisman that scared the living hell out of me. So those are the people who are voting.
Speaking of Heisman, I seen a graphic yesterday, Tom. So crazy. They had a Bo Nix Heisman watch graphic up. And I was like, what is going on here?
Listen, the world doesn't make sense anymore. The Bills are losing to the Jets. Bo Nix has a Heisman campaign.
Man, I said I got to put this.
It's all upside down.
Hey, Tom, I said I got to put this stuff out. Just now, interestingly, while I'm looking at the board, it just switched back. But for a couple of seconds, Baltimore and New Orleans at PointsBet went to pick them.
Really?
It went to pick
why?
them.
Because Andrews is out?
It just shot right back up to Baltimore -1.5. But while we were talking, it went to pick them quickly. So something to keep an eye on. That game's not until tomorrow night.
Right.
Or I wanted to ask you, for jock market purposes, who would be a Kansas City wide receiver that you would target tonight?
Kind of have a good feeling about MVS, but I think Juju has really come along. Juju has 2 consecutive 100-yard games and starting to make some bigger gains. So I would lean Juju, but if he's too pricey, I think MVS. And I know he's inconsistent, but it could be him. I mean, I'm interested to see how much Kadarius Toney plays, but I can't do it with him. But then again, he's probably really cheap. But I can't see him having a huge role initially. He's barely practiced this year, but all of a sudden he's healthy, which is interesting.
That always is the case.
Yeah.
Hey, my man, Nick Durst. Nick, if you was Nick, give us a call. I think Nick's a Jet fan. You might have been out at the Meadowlands today. If so, give us. We got a couple minutes left to go in the program. Hit that call in button and give us a call. I want to holler at you right quick and see what was going on today. Talk a little Jet football. Oh, he's a Giant fan, or maybe a Giant fan, but I don't know if you were at the Meadowlands or not today. But whatever the case, check in if you would like to, if you have a chance to. Only got a couple minutes left to go in the program, a little bit of racetrack left, but we do got that game tomorrow night, Tom. It seems like, I hate to say it's a must win, but I think the Ravens really need to get a win, get to 6-3 in this game. They're a 1.5 favorite, man, but prime time on the road, the way Kamara's playing right now, Saints scoring the football well. I don't think it's a cakewalk for Baltimore, but I think they get the victory.
I agree. The Ravens are kind of like bullies, right? There's teams they can kind of push around, and I think the Saints offense, they'll be able to do that too. They'll be able to get a lead with Lamar. The Saints they're fighting, but they're playing. I don't know. You look at last week, they played the Raiders, right? I think you got to throw that game out a little bit.
Yeah,
The Raiders were dealing with some flus or whatever. They're the Raiders. So now they're playing a whole different animal in the Ravens. I like what the Ravens did on the defensive side of the football at the trade deadline. I agree. I don't think it's a cakewalk, but you're getting no value at all betting the Saints. So I lean the Ravens on Monday night.
Yeah, because if you're betting the Saints, you're basically betting them to win at home.
To win outright, yeah. So I lean the Raiders, but of course I'll be sweating Youngstown State, Canisius, and Kent State, Northern, Kentucky.
That's
I'll be
what
all
we
over
got.
the place.
That's what we got. We start off with some mid-majors tomorrow night.
Yep. Yeah, Youngstown State, Kent State, and give me a little Rhode Island -7.
What's going on, Ronis?
Kyler Murray with a pick.
Interception.
There's a flag on the play. By the way, Little Wayne's not happy with the Packers. He said, RIP to the season. We should have gotten rid of 12 before the season.
Boy.
And,
Little Wayne.
But you know what, guys? I think there's more to that because, again, I go back to the Nathaniel Hackett hire for the Broncos. I think they thought they were getting Aaron Rodgers, and I think Aaron Rodgers thought he was leaving it. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. They trade Adams. They bring – I don't know. I think there's stuff there that hasn't come out yet because a lot of it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't. I mean, like Adams and him at the perfect combination. And look, it's not working out for Adams either. I mean, he's going to a team where he's losing. I know he had a big game today. Rodgers said, can't lose a game like this against that team. Oh, that's interesting. You play them again. Says this one will hurt for a while. He said, I played crappy. Another word.
I know what he's saying.
I played crappy, but I never gave up. Really, bro? You never gave up? You're an NFL? Like, come on. You never gave up? What do you?
That's a problem if a future first ballot Hall of Famer is giving up against the Lions.
Yeah, man. And we can't lose against that team. You play them again, and they already beat you.
And they actually played them well, especially in that building. Yeah. So, but tough times right now for the teams we thought would be at the top of the NFC. Two of those teams doing battle right now and look like what's going to be a field goal fest with the Rams and Buccaneers.
Another under. We said it back in week 1, baby. The Bucks, that they caught me last game against the Ravens. They scored 22 in the fourth, those two teams, and it just went over on the final play of the game. But they're an under dream.
Yep. Starting off next week, I believe it's Carolina and Atlanta again, the rematch. This time to be in Carolina. I think Carolina bounces back next week. What do you think, Ronis?
Yeah, divisional game. It was actually a fun game last
week. It really was.
I was going crazy when DJ Moore scored that touchdown.
And as soon as he took his helmet off, I was like, "Oh, look at this,
dude." Look, but I think it's a dumb rule. Do you agree? Like, you just scored a touchdown. You took off your helmet in celebration. You weren't being disrespectful to the opponent. Like,
there's a lot of dumb rules. Yeah,
right.
Like who's sitting there saying, "Hey, you know what we got to do? These guys cannot take their helmets off. It's ruining football."
Someone told me it's for protection. I don't believe that, man.
No, that's because first of all, University of Miami used to do that, so they stopped it in the college ranks, and then the Cowboys, Michael Irvin and MS, they used to do that as well. And they was like,
you mean when football used to be fun to watch?
Right.
They
like
used to do that.
Let these guys have fun, bro. It's a fun game. It's emotional. It was a huge play. It essentially won them the game. They didn't win. And Terry McLaurin did the same thing on the play down to the 1. They didn't flag him.
Right.
Yeah. It's objectionable. But hey, my thing is this. I listen, I'm gonna sound like the old man here, but you shouldn't take your helmet off. That's just the way I look at it.
With the rule, knowing what it is, yes, you shouldn't do it. Yeah. I'm saying the rule should be lifted. Let these guys that was a huge play for DJ Moore. He was excited. I would be too. Like I said, I was running around I was excited. What's the big deal if he takes off his helmet? Now, the rule 15 yards, you can't have it. You can't have it. Coaches have to be strict.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, let these guys have fun, man. These guys get fined for different color socks and stuff. It's stupid, man.
So we did no fines on the show today, and we did have fun. I want to shout out to everybody in the back end, Adam and Matt Deutsch for making us sound good. Of course, we want to thank everybody for checking in and enjoying the program with us. Big shout out to Jock Market, for sponsoring Game Day today. The Bettor Zone continues with Holden Kusher and Greg Leonard right here on the Bettor Sports Network. Everybody, we'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Time with Front Yard Fantasy. Let's go, baby.